Hello everybody, welcome to our show. Excuse the technical disorder. We are in the midst of Wasteful Wednesday and I'm resetting my camera because of a glitch. Hold on please. Yeah, it was a problem with the interface on one of our networks. I'm here now. Thank you. This is Wasteful Wednesday. Thank you for that. That was an interesting introduction from Scissor Fight. Okay, we're broadcasting on 4 networks. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah. Very powerful music. Okay, this is going to be a very interesting show. We're processing some interesting events that are not making sense to a lot of people. Big things twittering out there. A picture of Donald Trump meeting with the Clintons in the early days when both of them were getting together at Trump's wedding with Melania. And this really belies the inner dynamic here. Jeb Bush believes that there is something going on behind the scenes where Donald Trump is supporting Hillary Clinton. That's why this Twitter thing is being promoted all over the internet. We see this connection. You know, Donald Trump actually sent money to Hillary Clinton and donated. So there's a lot more to this conspiracy theory than meets the eye. Many people are wondering how this is possible. Well, I've been saying it from the very beginning. The two-party system is in and of itself a conspiracy. I just jumped out of the shower, so you'll have to excuse my hair. It's drying. This is a show dedicated to discussing the truth about what's happening in our country from an American perspective, not some corporate perspective like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton represent. We ourselves are Americans, Sarah and I, and we really believe that this country needs an average person to help this country fix this country, because we've got cronies that continually put out all this government waste. Now, Donald Trump has a little history that many of you don't know about. He had a major bankruptcy early on, one of his first, the Resorts International bankruptcy, in which he was facing the bankruptcy courts, and then he was going to get in a helicopter and take a trip in 1989 with 3 of his workers, and the helicopter went down. Now, this is a story that's out there, even though it predates the internet almost. But it's important for you to know that the 3 people that were on that plane were actually pivotal in the bankruptcy hearing. That the helicopter crashed, they couldn't testify in the Resorts International bankruptcy, and the bankruptcy was basically passed and rubber stamped. There was no hitch in the bankruptcy. And many people wondered how Donald Trump pulled that one off. How did he avoid dying in a helicopter? How did he avoid being taken to the cleaners and his equity sucked out, because he literally was in the practice of buyouts. The buyout practice is a process which companies, corporate pigs like Donald Trump engage in this. Organizations like the Carlyle Group, which has its roots with George H.W. Bush. Cerberus Group, which has its roots with Dan Quayle, who's the CEO. Bain Capital, which, as you know, Mitt Romney is part of that. These are all buyout people, just like Trump. And this kind of a telltale sign of something, I'm not sure what this is enough of a real indication that this man has been covering up his asset depletion, his capital losses for years. And that anybody who questions a tremendous amount of waste produced when bankruptcies occur isn't the one getting hurt. Now, my mother was an investor at Resorts International at the time. She lost a lot of money. Many investors lost a lot of money when this whole thing went down. So if you think Trump has no dark record on his record, he's got 4 major bankruptcies on his record that will literally dog him the rest of his time as a presidential candidate. I'm not going to let it pass that this guy is a borrower. All right? I've never borrowed money. I've never gone bankrupt. I don't believe in it. All I can tell you is that crash killed 3 aides of Trump that were going to testify and were part of that whole bankruptcy during the Resorts International period. It's very strange. High-level executives, too. And then recently, Donald Trump literally is threatening the Republican Party, don't test me, right? And at the same time, a reporter asked him, well, why is one of your senior financial advisors a felon? He's a known felon. Why do you have those people working for you? And Donald Trump's response was, he didn't know who this person was. So apparently he can maneuver around any question that it clearly is indicting and continually say, well, I don't know. Why did you make fun of and mock a disabled person, Donald Trump? I never did that. And they have film of him doing it. All right? So this guy is going to maneuver, wiggle, and God knows how many mob people he knows to get what he got in life. And now if your vote's going to go in that direction, you're literally going to hand the keys to the castle to the most corrupt corporate pig in America. I mean, you can't possibly be considering voting for this guy. He resembles everything this country stands against. Yeah, I said it. Corporate pig. That's what we're dealing with here. A person who has no bounds of greed. He's even admitted how greedy he is. No, ATP does not have any kind of a coloring book. I'm sorry, Miss Coco. But there are things that really are super serious. This comparison right here. Let's take a look at this. Adolf Hitler used racism to rise to power. Donald Trump is trying to use racism to rise to power. Adolf Hitler proposed mass deportations. Trump is proposing mass deportations. Promised to make Germany better, Hitler did. Trump promising to make America better, but he really can't spell it out. He doesn't have any ideas like we do on our website. So you really want a Hitlerian person who wants to go after Muslims the same way Hitler went after Jews? You want a person who's blaming immigrants for Americans' problems? Because that's just wrong. Immigrants are not the sole problem here. Corporate America is. The massive amount of corporate wealth and the wealth inequality in our country is really the problem. The drain of illegal immigrants is a minor issue compared to the unparalleled greed of corporate welfare. And Barack Obama has done everything to support corporate welfare. Obama turned out to be not a man of the people, but man of the corporation. I'm not reading talking points. I'm telling you what's going on. I'm responding to your... This is not a poor chart. This is a very real chart. And what's more real is that Donald Trump wants to do exactly what Hitler did. Issue IDs. Jews had to wear special IDs. Trump wants Muslims to wear special IDs. You don't see the incredible disaster in the making with this person who is literally just like Hitler? You don't see that? How can any of you even think? How can any of you even think of voting for such a tyrant, a corporate pig? I mean, seriously, he'll never give you anything. You folks don't get anything right now. You're not going to get anything at all, period, with a corporate greedy guy like that. I'm a man of the people. I will get you guys a $1,000 micro loan to start a business. Everybody in America who's a U.S. citizen will get a $1,000 micro loan. We have a plan to save our nation's agriculture and help you guys build really reasonable gardens for next to nothing with fertilizer from your local national composting area, which we will set up for you. And we'll take all the food waste in our country and recycle it, bring it back into the soil. No, Hitler was an opportunist. Hitler got funding from this very same people that are getting funding to Trump right now. The whole group of bankers, the JP Morgan group, funding from people that want to remain hidden behind the scenes. That's how Hitler rose to power. Hitler didn't rise to power because he was some guy speaking and everyone said, oh, you're so great. Hitler wasn't even elected. Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. He never was elected. So when these people are put in play, these despots, the people behind them are the ones that are powering them up and getting them the power necessary to control the election. I haven't had 1 minute of mainstream media attention. Nothing. Yet he gets endless hours of free advertising when he goes around and rags on somebody with intensity that literally makes you wonder, is he crazy? Is he insane? Is Megyn Kelly really bleeding from her eyes? I mean, he uses words that indicate that he's got a serious mental issue. Calling a woman out who's merely defending Rosie O'Donnell in a discussion and claiming that she's bleeding from whatever? Calling a woman on her own biological function is not something a gentleman does, let alone a presidential candidate. And he doesn't go around calling Mexicans all murderers, rapists, and drug dealers that are coming over the border illegally. Everything he says is twisted and ultimately is designed to encourage hatred and bigotry. I'm not a goof, I'm a person who's being censored. And my ideas are more powerful than anything Trump has. In fact, Trump likes my ideas so much, he stole them. My 15% tariff on China, he follows with a 30% tariff on China. I talk about a 1,000-mile fence in 2008. He talks about a 1,000-mile fence in 2012, 2014. It's all incredibly obvious. I'm the guy with the ideas without any kind of media attention whatsoever, without any mainstream media attention at all. I'm the guy with the ideas that can fix this nation. And other people, scumbags, corporate pigs, will borrow my ideas and act like they're supporting what I'm doing, when in fact I have a credible plan for immigration. I'm not going to violate the Constitution when I tell refugees, I'm sorry, we don't allow you into the country. We have plans to actually open up Ellis Island and the Channel Islands and an area in Nevada and Arizona that could warehouse people while we sort through their problems and then deport them back to their country. We're not going to violate the Constitution like Trump wants to do. The scary thing is, not only is Hillary a shoo-in, the less she says, the more likely she's going to get elected. And the fact of the matter is, she's got $2.3 billion in her campaign fund. Donald Trump, he's scraping the barrel in credit. And when he says he has $10 billion, prove it. Yes, we want to eliminate fluoride from our water system. That's one of our key principles, 757. We believe fluoride in our water system is actually unnecessary and very dangerous. We believe that it lowers the IQ of our children. And this is a study that was done by the Harvard Medical Review in 2012 confirming this. So yeah, we have some plans that are completely unlike anything Trump would come up with. He clearly supports the Federal Reserve because they're the ones that bailed him out 4 times on his bankruptcies. He clearly is a part of the status quo and the New World Order. And whatever backers want him out there, the same kind of people that put Hitler in charge in Germany, they want to get rid of a lot of the people of this country. They have no concern for the American people. All they care about is depopulation, these scumbags. But we have bigger problems on our hands. We've got a nation that's literally being inundated with pollution. There's Fukushima riding right into the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, leaching 6 swimming pools a day of radiated water into the ocean, killing off the intertidal zones. You don't hear Trump talking about Fukushima. I've got a plan to fix Fukushima, working with the Japanese government. You don't hear Trump talking about getting us out of war. We dedicate our Saturdays to our anti-war rally. Trump is so much involved in his idea of sending troops into Iran that it's insane. Why would we have a ground war against Iran? Why would we even send troops into the Middle East at this point? He does lack common sense. So one of the biggest concerns I have is that this man is willing to throw people under the bus in a ground war. I have a solemn promise to the American people. I will subtract troops from the Middle East. We will not add troops under my presidency. We will subtract troops. And we'll come up with a very logistical plan that makes sense for containing the populations of people, like in Kandahar and Kabul, and helping those people only, and not running our nation's army and Marines out there far in distances that cannot be defended along the fishhook of Pakistan. We don't want to do that. We want to focus on just dealing with the concentrated, populated areas. Yeah, Hillary doesn't say a damn thing. Yeah. The business that she's getting, 731, is they don't know what to do with her. When she says something in the news, she doesn't know what she's saying. She did an interview with Vanity Fair, with one of the reporters that worked for Vanity Fair, and it was kind of shocking that she said something. I don't even think her handlers know what to do with her. She said something many people can't even understand. She said she's not really even a human being. Now this is from October. It's also still pertinent news. But no, I don't have huge ears. I've always had nicely shaped ears. Thank you. But this is a story that maybe you should look at. If you haven't heard about the story about how she didn't sweat in the Iowa campaign, one of her aides actually said, "What kind of deodorant do you use?" And it launched an incredible story. They notice she doesn't sweat. She says, "I don't sweat because you're nervous. I don't mean sweat because you're nervous. I just mean physically, I'm genuinely curious what your deodorant is." All right, BuzzFeed, Hillary Clinton. She responded, "You guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto a very long time ago. People think that, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created it. Oh no, I mean a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his garage. Are there more of you? I thought he threw away the plans. At least that's what he told me when he programmed me." I mean, this is a presidential candidate, so no wonder she's remaining relatively quiet. She can't speak without having a speech written for her to discuss the talking points about Benghazi, where she looks down for 13 hours and reads off a script. It's very fascinating, Beekman. Vanity Fair has been sued by numerous people over comments. Well, not numerous. A couple people have sued them. They don't make comments unless they can back them up anymore. No, that's not satirical. Not at all. This is a woman who is absolutely off the rails, just like Donald Trump is. Neither one understand the severity of the problems in this country. I do. Neither one can comprehend the inner dynamics of false flags and why our country is using false flags to trigger fear and hostility and push for gun control. We have a false flag alert tonight. We're going to be talking about contradictory evidence in the recent San Bernardino shooting. Yeah, very strange things that are just not adding up about the shooting. For one, a credible witness said that there were 3 tall people, and they were white, and they were wearing black ninja outfits. They weren't short, they weren't Islamic, it wasn't a couple, there was no woman there. 3 tall men, that's what the witness said, and a very credible witness from a distance. So they shot 2 people. Whatever those 2 people were doing, who knows, but they had their emergency blinkers on in their vehicle. Now, who would put their emergency vehicle blinkers on and then get out and start shooting people? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And by the way, could you tell me exactly where those bodies are and who those bodies are? Because I have yet to see any real evidence. The San Bernardino morgue was completely under lock and key, and the police were waiting for the media to leave, and the media were waiting for the police to leave, and no one ever saw any bodies moving in or out. I don't know what the dude was, but it doesn't look like those are the 2 perpetrators. And these alleged false flag events, which are going on daily now, almost weekly, we're seeing them, are completely a part of a campaign to control our mind and push us closer to war. They've created ISIS. The roots of ISIS are inevitably deep in the CIA's War Department. They've been developing this concept for some time, and there's no joke that the ISIS... Thank you. ISIS actually has a name, an acronym. The Israeli Secret Intelligence Service uses the acronym ISIS. Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. Now, this is a term that the Mossad uses when discussing their operations outside of their internal operations. They call themselves the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. So I really do believe there's a fingerprint here from the Mossad and from the CIA. And that's what makes me concerned that our country is being played. Our nation is being manipulated. You know, many years ago I had this premonition that someday I'd be in the middle of this storm of controversy and have to figure out all the different underlying surreptitious activities going on and somehow come together and bring Americans together to formulate a plan of action to get our nation back. And here I am doing just that. It's amazing how my premonition has become a self-fulfilled prophecy. I don't know what's in the works for us, but it's definitely going to involve figuring out the players that are involved in this false flag attempt, in the attempt to start a war in Syria, in an attempt to push for gun control, and extract those players from our political spectrum somehow, because they're working secretly with the existing structure of our government, almost like a cabal would be developing a plan to secretly manipulate our nation into another war and to disarm our population and get rid of all the weapons so that they can then turn their machinery of totalitarian police state onto the American people. Could very well be exactly what's going on. What if the internet just disappeared all of a sudden? Well, that's a plan that Donald Trump has. He wants to get rid of the internet. That's another thing he said yesterday. I can't even begin to talk about the ridiculous crap coming out of this windbag, this gas bag. Kabbalah? Yeah, the people in the scene also reported that 3 tall white men wearing black hats, khaki pants, and tan combat boots were actually the shooters. The description is almost exactly what the gentleman from the Crab International mercenary organization that was involved in so many other false flags actually look like. They seem to be a standard uniform for these people that do these. Thanks, Noble Watchman. They took your fingerprint scan for your training, and your fingerprint didn't even work? Really? That's interesting. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about our country. Now, I'm not giving him any free time, believe me. I wanted all of you to see that the comparison is almost uncanny between him and Hitler. I'm not making up any lies. The lies have been made up by local law enforcement. As president, I will put together an oversight task force that is apart from the FBI. I'm not sure which department we're going to work with, but I want something insulated from corruption. And I can tell you that if we have to look at every one of these events and get the hard evidence and show the American people the real evidence, we will do that. If I take the federal task force and go to, say, San Bernardino and take our cameras and our full real-time cameras into the morgue, I want to see bodies, okay? This is not about the macabre. This is not morbidity. This is just, I need to see evidence. I need to see evidence that there has been a crime. Now, in almost every one of these events, there is no evidence. So don't think for a second I'm making up lies. The lies are the complete lies are being generated by the media, and we have no evidence. No, you, sir, are lying. You have no idea how wrong you are. There's no evidence at all of this event. None. You show me the names of the 14 people that have been killed. I can show you lots of evidence of psychopathic puppets that control the world. I can show you a whole list. In fact, Scissorfight constructed a beautiful video here. These are the real sickos running this world. Yeah, we'll revisit that. What a lovely picture of the former Pope, Pope Benedict, who is still alive. Now, how is a former Pope still alive when the Catholic Church believed that only one person could be the representative of Jesus Christ here on earth? Okay, David, I can't imagine how insulting it would be for a family. Where is the family? Show me the family of one of the victims, Beekman. There is no family coming up claiming that they're no real family. I've got countless pictures of people that lie. This guy, he's no longer the Pope, right? He claimed that pedophilia was a mainstream activity now. That's probably why they pulled him out and put Pope Francis, the head of the military arm of the Vatican, the Jesuits, in charge. I can get away with that. Yes, I can tell you, Beekman, there are no pictures, there are no dead bodies, there's no family members. We have evidence of a woman who speaks about her mom. Oh, come on. The Pope Benedict claimed that pedophilia was a mainstream activity. Protect the children from people like that. Yeah, we have a picture of one of the children. Yeah. Let me show you one of the clips from the news story where they talk about actors.
How could we ever forget when the Boston Commissioner, in his own words, told the whole world that the Tsarnaev brothers were nothing but actors?
We cannot be positive, but we're confident that these were the two actors. These were the two actors. These were the two actors.
Well, if you thought that was bad, get this. On live MSNBC, reporting on the San Bernardino, California supposed shooting, 2 hours apart, two different guys both refer to these supposed three gunmen as actors. And not only once, they say it 4 times. One guy says it once and the other guy says it 3 times. Check this out.
But if they decide to do some maneuver, the actors, the shooters decide to do something, the actors, the shooters, the actors, the shooters, the actors, the
shooters, the actors, the actors, the shooters, the actors. Yeah, let me see if I have the words of the family here. No shower? What do you mean no shower?
Hey guys, Matt here. Just one more quick one.
Hey Matt.
It's not real.
Okay, that was the actual apartment landlord saying that it's not real. He actually said it's not real. You heard him just now. It's not real. He was interviewed. Those two people, the Muslims that were labeled as the shooters, it's just not real. The whole thing's a fake event.
It's not real.
It's not real. Yeah. So there's all these stories are propagating. We have pictures of the couple, the children. Listen to the daughter of one of the alleged
Well,
victims.
I've got to say, the script writers to these stage psyops have come up with a classic here.
Yep.
Upper lines. Check this out. So we have none other than CIA, CNN, shit shooter, green screen, Anderson Pooper interviewing this family.
Check this
We
out.
don't really need to go any further because
Like, she was nice to, honestly, everyone. And it's sad for mostly all the families, really. But, like, she was holding up? You're so... Well, like, because, like, she used to tell me, like, that if, like, I do go...
If, like I do go...
If, like I do go...
If, like I do go...
if like I do go.
If like I do go. In other words, her mother told her that if like I do go and they call me to be pulled into witness protection.
If like I do go. If like I
do go.
Well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Here she is saying that
People don't act strangely. I lost my mother and I cried for 2 weeks. This girl did not lose her mother. It's clearly obvious. Have you lost your mother? I'm not making fun of a young girl. I'm telling you this woman or this girl did not in any way lose anybody.
Mum says, if I do go.
If I do go.
If I do go.
If I do go.
Sorry, but your mum got killed at the scene.
By the way, this is the only person that's come up. This is the only family that claimed that they lost their loved one. I mean, there's no evidence here. None.
What's this if I do?
What proof do you have that an event occurred? We have a fake family, a girl who hasn't cried in 2 days, claiming she just lost her mother.
Do go. Where's she going?
Where's she going?
Did she pre-warn you that she was going somewhere? Maybe to Tel Aviv with all the other 13 supposed dead? If I do go, there's something not right here.
I want you to I want everybody to stay strong. I don't want you guys grieving or crying. That's when I'm taken into place and
That's like when I'm taken into the place. Do you see what she said? She said that's like when her mother's taken into the place. That's called witness protection. Her mother was sent somewhere and she was told that, don't worry, honey, I'm coming back. I'm just being, told to be kind of, quiet right now. It's worth a lot of money and we're going to set up a GoFundMe page and we'll all be rich.
just going off that. I'm taken into place. I'm taken into place. I'm taken into place. I'm taken into place.
Yeah, her mother was taken into the place, all right. Look at folks, I am just responding to the overwhelming concern that the blogosphere is having over these events, pushing for yet another attack on Syria and for gun control. You can't see that? Yeah, I just took a shower earlier. My hair is drying. You'll have to excuse me. Why would Americans participate in a lie against the American people? Why would Americans do that? Because Americans like money? You didn't know that? I asked the room. In fact, I'll ask the room right now. How many of you would be willing, now this is not an offer, but how many of you would be willing, Miss Coco, my hair is not thinning. I just jumped out of the shower. What's your problem? How many of you would be willing to say whatever I told you to say for money? And not just a little money. Now this is hypothetically. A lot of money. Like $1 million. Would you say your mother died in a terrible accident? You would, yeah. You see, you would lie. Oh, yeah. See, you like money, right? Kind of finish. It said never. For $1 million, you wouldn't say that your mother died? I don't need to go to San Bernardino. I have enough evidence or lack of evidence to tell you and confirm to you that this is indeed a false flag alert. You would kill your mother in a terrible accident for $1 million. See, this is the room we're living in. This is a swash of the American people. Just a simple poll in the room would tell you that, yeah, people lie all the time. I will never apologize for insulting a man who is clearly not a pope anymore, Pope Benedict, who's still alive. I would rather you go home and realize that as a former Catholic, I truly have left the church because I don't believe that they're telling you the truth. I believe that they're lying and deceiving all the people of the world. I believe that Pope Francis is an attempt a Marxist pope, mind you, an attempt to take over our country. He's come in here and influenced politics. He doesn't have that right. That's a violation of the Logan Act. Okay, Sarah's here. Oh, I've got to remove my no vacancy thing. Hang on.
I have to say the Logan Act is that U.S. citizens can't influence other politics, but other citizens from around the world can still try to influence American politics.
No, we're influencing the Vatican.
Who's influencing the Vatican?
No, we would be influencing the Vatican if we had him over here, and we'd be talking to him politically about issues. He's a religious leader. He doesn't have a place talking about politics. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's true.
We have a separation of church and state, and it's clearly written and interpreted in the 14th Amendment that we need to actually prevent religions from dominating politics. Yet he comes in and starts telling us what we should do. And you think that's okay? All I'm telling you is every person, including this Mintz guy has been outed. His entire thing is over the top. You remember the Umpqua Community College shooting? Where the guy claimed to be shot 7 times and it changed to 5 times? Well, guess what? He doesn't have any bullet wounds. Remember Umpqua College? He got over $1 million on his GoFundMe page. Chris Mintz busted. Remember the hero? Took 5 bullets, saved lives, tackling the shooter, bragging about not being injured on his Instagram. Where are his scars, the bullet hole wounds? Some of these images were just posted 2 weeks ago. Look at that. Making signs with his hands, looking good. Yeah. High multi-tool. Yeah, we've got even more important stories. He's even done videos recently showing he's doing great. His right hand looks fantastic. I don't know about Michael Jackson's death, but he's talking about all the good things that he's doing right now. Well, at this point, they are conspiring to control our country, Got a Race, and you need to wake up, because this is not going away anytime soon. Now look at this, it's just posted. You see a bullet hole? That is his recent posting. Look at that. There's no bullet holes. You've been lied to. There are no bullet holes. Unless they shot 5 times in the middle of his belly button, there's no bullet holes, this guy. There's no 5 holes. This guy didn't have any shots fired. No, there are no scars. There's nothing. He's even in the... Check this out. Hang on. He's even in the actual room making the sign of the devil with his hand. Do you see these? These are all of his cohorts that are sitting there making signs of the devil. People, don't be so naive to think that these are real stories that are being put in front of your eyes so you could justify a war with Syria or to take your weapons away. You are an idiot, 40 whatever you are, 406. You are an idiot. This country is under siege by these complete buffoons who are controlling the future of our country. And you're wondering, well, everything can't be a false flag. Well, yeah, it can, especially if they're conspiring to start a war and disarm the nation. So yeah, we have false flag alerts all the time on our show. If you don't like that, too bad. It's a gang sign. It's also the mark of the devil. Thank you. Okay, we're done here.
Okay.
No, you need to have your head examined, Mr. 406. And you know, guest chat would be great if we could just talk about issues that are wasteful in our society, like the government corruption that continually gives all the cronies that get these people reelected money. You know that the people in Congress that vote for military contracts are getting lots of money from companies like Lockheed Martin? You know what lots of money is to a congressman? Are you ready for this? $6,000. Yeah. That's how cheap these prostitutes are for their vote. There's 23 people on the panel that studies the F-22, the Raptor, that decides whether the F-22 is worthy of flight. You know, like the recent discovery of an oxygen depletion problem in the F-22, Lockheed's F-22. Well, it turns out that all of those people on that panel, those 23 people, get $6,000 a year from Lockheed Martin. Does that sound like an objective panel to decide whether a plane is worthy of flying or not? Literally all of them are on their payroll. So for a modest amount of $3 million every year. Lockheed Martin pays these people $6,000 for their campaigns. Boom, 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 boom. No, the F-22 is not. The fact of the matter is, these people are on the take. They're prostitutes / politicians. And they'll do whatever Lockheed Martin wants them to do. So if Lockheed Martin wants $35 billion for the F-35 this year, they get $35 billion. It only costs $3 million for Lockheed Martin to get prime the pump and get $35 billion. Pretty good deal, huh?
No.
No, in no way am I here to support Israel. I have a completely objective stance on the issue of Israel versus Palestine. We actually believe that if Israel doesn't sign the nuclear non-proliferation agreement, they will not be able to receive any foreign aid. Because in order to receive foreign aid, a nuclear power has to sign the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. And they haven't done that yet. We clearly know that they have nuclear weapons in Israel. We know that. But they won't admit to it. So we'd also like the changed position toward the Gaza Strip to move toward solutions like fresh water, food production, so that they can evolve as a state in Israel, and the Palestinian state can be formed in Israel. And I believe that that is something that even Netanyahu has considered. So I do believe that there is a pathway to peace, but we cannot possibly take sides. All right? We're not turning our backs on them. We're going to try to make sure that Israel has a clarity in their foreign policy. Right now it's very obscure and obfuscated with secret tendencies and desires. We're not really sure if Israel is going to start a conventional war against Iran. And I'm not going to back a conventional war against Iran. If Israel is attacked, however, I will provide air support for Israel as the President of the United States. We will give them all the air support they need. I will not send troops in. We will not commit to more troops in the Middle East. I will subtract troops in the Middle East. But the problem is so immense that for me to reduce it down and define the talking points, it's almost impossible at this point. We're way beyond that. We have some issues we want to talk about tonight on Wasteful Wednesday. Cutting the budget. And Sarah and I have been talking about cutting at least $1 trillion off the budget per year. And in order to do that, we came up with a different idea that most people don't understand. It is an offshoot of capitalism, and we call it hybrid capitalism. And our concept is basically to get the government to run like a business. So we wrote a book in 2012 called Hybrid Capitalism. And we have all the solutions to cutting waste in our book.
Exactly. So you can read it and you can find out all about how to cut waste in government.
Yeah. One of the ways we're going to do this is by looping capital. Right now the government doesn't produce enough. Like, we don't make generic pharmaceuticals. We could do this. We're easily able to make generic pharmaceuticals for people that can't buy pharmaceuticals right now because they're too expensive, and it'll save people problems later on in life. Heart disease, diabetes, expensive medication. And if the government got involved in generic pharmaceuticals for one, we'd be getting money back, and we wouldn't be jeopardizing the private sector or falsely influencing it. You see, our plan involves the government getting involved in competing in the free market without unfair advantage. That's a big switch from where we're at right now. Obama would never even think of NASA making a profit. He'd rather give NASA over to Richard Branson or to Elon Musk. He'd rather just hand over the entire infrastructure of NASA to them. I will not do that. We will get NASA to make a return on investment, and we'll get NASA to actually work and make money back. This whole system can run into perpetuity if it just gets a return on investment. We cannot function as a socialist nation like we currently are. We are already $1 trillion over budget every single year. Our $18 trillion debt is now soon to become a $20 trillion debt. It's not working. The two-party system is failing. We've had the most lame duck Congress in our history, and it's getting worse. They're doing nothing. And our president is the lame duck as well. He's doing nothing. Karl Marx was a buffoon. He orchestrated a conspiratorial plan to define economics in 3 separate categories. No one can define economics in 3 separate categories. No one. And the problem we have is our Marxist academics have nested themselves in the White House and in the Congress. And these people are actually pushing for more of Marxist mindless policies. Look at guys, don't ever come in here and claim that I have mental problems, because I don't. I've never had a personal issue. I've never been a danger to myself or to others, and I've never threatened anybody. Bear in mind, you need to understand that I am a person who is merely responding to a very vibrant and living internet. That you, the people, are speaking through the internet and using the tool available to you, the only tool available to you in a suppressed and censored society. And I'm merely a mirror of that. I started this whole plan with Sarah in 2008. We've been broadcasting for 7 years, and my views have changed. I used to be in support of an assault weapons ban. I would never do that again. I realize now that you cannot ban weapons, assault weapons. It's not possible. You can't even define what an assault weapon is. All it is a slippery slope heading straight toward a disaster for our nation, which is gun control, demilitarization of our own people, and the takedown of our freedoms, one by one. Okay, Noble Watchman says he finds it curious during the apprehending the suspects there is not 1 second of actual footage of shots fired. Right. Nope, I don't need to be a puppet to be president. I'm sorry you wrote that, because I am a real person with real goals. I'm not about to capitulate on issues with corporate cronies like Donald Trump. I'm going to be working directly with both parties to find and forge common ground. All right, I'll replace me with the book here. And I'll be back. No, Trump copied me. My 1,000-mile fence he took from me. In 2008, I came up with that idea.
Exactly, and we were broadcasting then, and Trump knew we were broadcasting then.
Yep. Trump even came into our room in 2012, and we even said to each other, that sounds like Trump, the real deal. And he basically picked our brain and took our ideas and then
said, oh, this guy's got a great platform. I'll just run with his platform.
But he doesn't have any specifics. He can't actually specifically answer how he's going to pay for the fence that I came up with. I've got a plan to pay for it with prison labor. He wanted to charge Mexico for it. I mean, this guy is unhinged, off the rails, and completely a gas bag. And I'll be stepping out for now.
Thank you, 247. Glad to hear it. Fantastic. Oh. No, it was just the way the chatter spoke and his name and certain things. But I did tweet to him in 2010-ish. So, anyway, I know Trump knew we were broadcasting then and did know about our platform issues. How will we keep the prisoners from escaping? It's called a lethal electric fence. Not just any fence, but a lethal electric fence. Yes, well, considering that prison labor is still available, I would say 517. Yeah, I don't think he was stalking us. I have been in there. I usually tend to not buy anything in there because it's usually above my price point that I'm willing to spend. 4832. I know that people pretend to be famous people all the time. Yes, I understand that. I'm sorry for the way things are. I don't know what David said, so I can't say whether I approve of anything David said because I didn't hear it. Yes, I'm not opposed to putting soldiers on the border. I'll say that. Yes, I don't know if they've really proposed a lethal electric fence, though. 5525. Wasting. Correct. Yes, 5173, correct. Good. Yes, well, I understand about the tunnels, but we're going to have an X-ray equipment to see the tunnels. Actually, we'll use the devices that they use to find oil, and that we will use them to find empty spaces, caverns, and so that we will know where all the tunnels are and we can take them out. I didn't say there was proof of Trump. I just said that we believe the person sounded like Trump. It might not have been 4109. Yes, we give Pakistan so much money per year. It's crazy. Sarah does keep it real as much as possible. Well, oh yes. You're welcome for the spell check. David has us. I had put you on slow mode. Well, when somebody was saying take slow off, I just ensured that slow was on. Oh, goodness. I do believe that we should take care of our vets and our homeless. That's one thing that doesn't seem to be on the minds of many future presidential leaders. I do believe we do need to do that. There you have it, 55255. What? I don't understand what you're saying, 4109. It's a possibility, 927. However, due to what amendment is it that anyone that steps foot on our soil has right to due process? Therefore, since they have a right to due process, I would like to actually deputize all of our Border Patrol agents and possibly our military if we're going to put our military on the border. But I would like to deputize everyone on the border to become a federal judge so that we can actually expedite the process of having these hearings that they're legally required to have, legally entitled to, so that they can then present the evidence in a, quote, court of law. The court of law does not need to happen inside of a building. Just needs a judge. Okay, 517. No, I'm not aware of the website comparing David to Trump. Oh yes, the president just signed a $170 million funds to spend on refugees. Meanwhile, we have cities, roads, schools that could use help in America, but they claim we don't have the funding for that. Does that really make sense to you? Oh, and by the way, the refugees all automatically, if they don't get a job, they automatically qualify for federal funding, aka welfare, Medicaid. And if any state refuses to give them Medicaid or welfare, they will have all funding for any Medicaid or welfare programs cut off for that state. Isn't that fun? Can you sense the sarcasm in my voice? Oh, and don't forget, they get 7-year tax-free loans. So all you U.S. citizens, maybe it's best if you left the country and came back as a refugee. Right, because once you have income, then we're going to tax it to pay for your health care. But if you're a refugee, you can get that for free. Oh, Sarah, I know. We shall see. It seems like it's going in that direction, 517. Oh, I can't see the website that compares France raids mosques and what they found inside proves Trump is right. I'll click on that. I can't see the website link that the guest post trying to compare Sponheim to Trump because you can't post links in here unless you're signed in. So you need to actually sign up for an account. My brain needs a vacation. That would be fantastic. I don't think it's going to happen for a while. They can make $55,000 a year in welfare in Hawaii. Wow. Oh, thank you, 4924. How are you doing? I don't know. Didn't she have brain surgery? Hillary did. So, who knows? I tend to agree with you, 6426. I couldn't agree more. Seems like a lot of people don't realize what American citizens are going through themselves. Sarah. Yeah, what's my favorite Sarah song? Welcome to the Room, Sarah. No, actually, it's probably the Hall & Oates one. It's the most popular. If you feel like leaving, you know you can go. But why don't you stay until tomorrow? Oh, the Fleetwood Mac song is really good too. That's true. It's so rare. I don't hear the Fleetwood Mac song, Sarah song very often. That's a good one. Hybrid Capitalism. I don't have a copy of the book in front of me, but I can say it lays out all our plans for the future. Basically, I can tell you it talks about our homestead renewal plan. Talks about ideas for education. It talks about ideas for housing. It talks about our essential food plan. Oh yes, it's the Fleetwood Mac song is Sarah without an H. Ooh, you just got back from the store and it's super foggy out, Scissor Fight. I'm glad you're safe. Be safe while you're driving. Well, we liked the word hybrid because we both drive hybrid vehicles. That's what we were talking about in hybrid capitalism. I guess you're just going to have to buy the book and find out, Beekman. David did talk about maybe making it live in 2016, so you could wait a month and then maybe we'll go. Maybe it'll go out there. No time is a good time for goodbye. Alright, you thought you were logged in. Alright, thank you, Logo Graphics. Oh yes, I think I have seen it. That's pretty cool. David Sponheim comparison with Trump. Good. Whoever wrote that was actually a good writer. I have to say. Nice. Thank you. I know, we are in the verge of social capitalism. What is this? Okay. Alright, interesting. Hello, Ronnie. No, I did not make a new calendar for 2016. I'll think about it with my graying hair and all that, but
Oh, you don't have graying hair. You got rid of it.
A little bit. But
Yeah,
it seems to want to come back.
Well, she's using this great new shampoo. So. Yeah, so working on different ideas to save the country. You know, it occurred to me in the other room. Oh, thank you.
They did a pretty good job writing.
Good. My goal is to reach out to the American people, and I invite Donald Trump to join the independent realm. Leave the Republican Party. You're not meant to be a Republican. Let the Republicans, push their position without the influence of a person who really doesn't have the same values the Republicans have. And I invite you, Donald Trump, to come into the independent realm and take me on. Because I'm ready for you. Yeah. Let's go head to head and see who can come up with better ideas for the American people. Let's solve America's problems, and let's see how you do with a real competitor, not some Republican who's working off of the Republican agenda. I am willing to talk to you about all the problems in the country, like the GMOs, the vaccination issue, the problem with fluoride in our water system. And you're going to call me a whack job. And I'm going to reach out to the American people and ask them why we need fluoride in our water system. Could they explain that? Because studies are showing that it does indeed cause lowering of the IQ of children. And it turns out that fluoride is a byproduct of industrial waste. All right? So they are literally sticking industrial waste in our water supply. Are you with me? You wonder what they do with the other industrial waste, the carbon that they sequester from carbon pollution smokestacks? They're actually putting it in canisters and spraying it in the air. So yeah, we've got a lot of people in the third party realm ready to take you on, Donald Trump, ready to talk about these issues that you refuse to even discuss. We'll talk about the Federal Reserve being a private corporation. We'll talk about the international bankers that have hijacked your campaign. We'll talk about all the different people in the country that literally get tons of money from printed money, and we, the massive amounts of people, get nothing. Scientists now prove gluten sensitivity doesn't actually exist. Really? That was all made up to sell rice and cashew meal? I mean, what's going on with this? Scientists are now saying that gluten sensitivity is not a real thing. Well, I don't believe that, people who claim to be gluten sensitive, they have cut gluten out of their diet. They seem to benefit from it. So what's going on here? You want to read that? Okay, let's see. The latest fad diet to impact market shelf products is gluten-free, based off a diet recommended for those who suffer from celiac disease. I've met a person who had celiac disease. Do you want to see that person?
Well, most people follow this diet blindly without doing proper research on the side effects.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
The quote-unquote need for a gluten-free diet is debunked through placebos and scientific research. 37 self-proclaimed gluten-free participants.
Wow. Okay, this is Ron Hyatt. Ron Hyatt called me up. He's a celiac. He actually has a he has a mental disorder. Yeah. He actually contacted me. He said that celiacs develop a crown around their head, and that they can have a reaction from gluten. So this article is in direct contradiction to what you were saying. Go ahead. Yeah. He's a celiac, yeah. Ron Hyatt was.
all the treatment diets caused pain, bloating, nausea, and gas to a similar degree. It didn't matter if the diet contained gluten. So this was the follow-up to a 2011 experiment. I guess some people, well, I'm sure some people are allergic to certain things, but some people aren't.
All right, let's do this here. All right, great. Oh, I disagree. I think the GOP is done. I think the Trump will destroy whatever the GOP used to be. You know, ironically, Trump is pushing votes to the Hillary camp. Any moderate's going to look at Trump and the GOP and go, oh my God, you got a Nazi representing you? Whoa. Didn't expect you to go in that direction. And it's funny, Trump doesn't even acknowledge the Tea Party, which won 2 midterms. You know, I welcome Trump to jump into the third party realm right now. I really do. I'm embracing it. I'm not going to be buying the VIP package, no, but it can be gifted, you know. You can gift people the VIP package. Well, the thing about it is, if he gets pushed out of the GOP, which is very likely he will be, based on his statements, yeah.
The scientist who discovered GMOs cause tumors in rats
won a
landmark defamation lawsuit in Paris.
Wow, this is awesome, folks. Natural Blaze is featuring the article about the guy who found tumors in GMO rats. Yeah, cool. This is really good news, Sarah.
Oh, it's in Paris.
Yeah, thank you for that. All right, so Sarah's going to go ahead and take another break, and she'll be back a little bit later. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is the guy that showed us the tumor rats. Oh, could you close that door? I'm heating up the room.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The other one, you gotta close that?
No, you can leave that open. Was French Guillaume-Eric Salidi correct when he discovered the scientific feeding experiments past 90 days with GMO food in rats can cause serious health problems, including tumors? Well, the answer to that question has been debated ever since the initial publication of the study, culminating in a republication of the study in another peer-reviewed journal that wasn't nearly as well covered as the initial retraction was by the mainstream media. Great. Well, you found a good one here, Sarah. Thank you. That was great. Did you see that? She found something on the internet that's really, really good. Yeah, see, I've been saying that GMOs are really bad for you for some time, and I'm very openly against GMOs. You know, Trump doesn't even talk about those things. Hillary doesn't say anything about anything, except being a robot. Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid he can't out-talk me. No one's ever been able to out-talk me. I am a person who is able to talk on any subject at any length for whatever purpose under the sun. We can, if you don't have a clear vision of something and you need me to explain something to you, I will do that. I have that capability. Okay, this is very good information. Chronic toxicity study of the glyphosate-based herbicide Roundup and commercially genetically modified foods led this man to do the study. Yeah, he's a real hero, guys, this guy. Yeah, I didn't really like that link, Beekman. It wasn't really cool for me. You know, slow mode is off. I'll turn it back off for you. I'll redo it for you. It was never turned on. These are metrics coming out of the Vaughn system. I can't help them. And I'm still not up and running yet in the Battle Cam show. So let me take a look at that. Here we are. We've got an audience. Great. This is the first time I looked at you guys in some time. Thank you. All right, David. We could only be so fortunate to have you as head honcho. And that's coming from One Hung Low over at the other network. Cool. Well, we've got 2 networks now we can communicate with. I don't know. Maybe it's just, he's doing the best he can to redo his site. I like the new template. People are saying, yeah, we like the largeness of the screen. Yeah, I don't have a wig. If you'd like, I can show you each follicle. Let me see if I can identify one for you here. Which one would you like to look at first? That one? I mean, you can do a close-up of my head with a microscope. Put your monitor down on the ground and then get a microscope. And I'll put my head up next to the camera and you can look at my follicles. I saw a young lady today at the local Walmart that was almost blonde as ever. I've never seen a woman that blonde before. I mean, more blonde than Marilyn Monroe. But she was... Thank you. Well, see, I can be funny, whereas Donald Trump can't. That's the difference between he and I. I actually have a casual style about me. He's like a guy wanting to have a cardiac arrest. I'm trying to have a cardiac arrest right now. Ivanka! I feel sorry for the guy. You see a bald spot? Where? I'm not sure. You want to do... Why don't you be my monkey and pick through the hair? We could have like a little viewer monkey show. It's kind of like a dog and pony show, but it's better. Viewer monkey show. If this could be an interactive show where you could actually reach into my head and pull out my thoughts. Won't that be cool? So we talked about the hybrid capitalist solutions for America. Obviously, I haven't given you specifics. I want to do that for you. So we did talk a little bit about the National Composting Plan. And that's an idea to get the soil back to health and get a rich humus. They call it a humus soil. It's a loam that good agricultural experts know what it's like. Chemical fertilizers would not belong in this soil. Roundup and herbicides would not be in this soil. Folks, we need a completely new transformation, a new awakening to create solutions for our nation. We're throwing 50% of our food away at markets and restaurants. Yes, I heard he did, Draft Brain, thank you. Donald Trump is violating the Constitution, so he's disqualifying himself from the presidency, according to Press Secretary Josh Earnest. Yeah, it's a dustbin of history. It had a dustbin of history quality to Trump's campaign. He's already looking at Trump's campaign in a historic sense because he's seen how Trump has violated the Constitution by simply not understanding immigration law. This is where a dimwit, not too polished speaker like Donald Trump falls into a category all of his own, which is the foot and mouth disease category. Yes, I was swimming. I know I try not to get my head wet, but that's what happens. My hair flattens out. Yeah, I normally have very wavy hair, but if you look at the nation, the whole look of my hair, I'm trying to look more like an albino African American. Do you think that would almost fit the way I look? Somebody said you don't have eyebrows, and I kind of agree. They are so light that it almost looks like they're part of my face. But that's perhaps why I was designed, to look similar to, an albino African American. Well, I definitely qualify for blackface, definitely. I have eyebrows like Mona Lisa. I don't think you've ever said such a nice thing to me, Beacon. Yeah, thank you. A Craigslist ad was placed for actors for the San Bernardino just prior to the big show. Check this out, folks. This is a real mind blower. You got such great links, man. Thank you so much for bringing those in. Thank you. And thanks for the viewership over there at the other network. I'll try not to mention that network on our Vaughn show. Yeah, you guys are always aware of the competitors. I know you don't want to realize, but this is a competitive venue offering free internet TV. A closer look at San Bernardino and the lies. New York man was posing as DHS. Really? Oh my God. Let's take a look.
And we don't want you talking about it.
Okay, this is Professor Doom. He's usually pretty good.
The Department of Homeland Security, the ATF, and the FBI are always on the scene. Always. Even with this right here.
But to no avail.
I heard the cruiser coming, and I looked out the window and I saw the truck flying down the road.
Wasn't the crash?
Right here, Millis in Boston. The FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and ATF were involved. They were there, according to the chief of police. Now, that was just a shooting of a police car.
He's got a lot of reveals in there. Apparently, he's talking about. Thank you. Cockiness, manipulativeness, selfishness, power motives. Yeah, Trump does have narcissism going for him. That's true. Good point. Mona Lisa, yes. You're right, I do. You are so right. You know, Beekman, I never thought it was true, but yeah, it's very possible that this was a drawing of someone in my family line. You're right. I do possess a similar feature. I see the resemblance. Thank you. And I'm not obsessed with my family or my family line or my face, but when you said that to me, it occurred to me that, wow, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, men have named you. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, men have named you. My jaw is a little too big for her. Okay, just because you hate people doesn't mean that you can't get along with those people. Go to 1205, thank you. Here's a closer look at the video.
This at this location. Also, to go along with it, for Tuesday, December 1st, right here, there was a Craigslist ad that was needed for San Bernardino.
Whoa.
And people were going to have to sign non-disclosure agreements. Right, you're going to have to participate in something that's going to take place in San Bernardino.
There's the evidence.
But whatever it is that you're going to participate in, we don't want you talking about it. So you're going to have to sign penalty of perjury, which is non-disclosure agreements. What could this Craigslist ad be advertising for?
Totally.
What could warrant them needing actors or extras in a background with some speaking roles, but you're not allowed to talk about it after you participate in it?
Well, you're
and
right.
It's going to take place on Wednesday, December 2nd.
Wow. The telltale sign, the evidence. It's right there. Thank you very much, Professor Doom. Wow, that's awesome. It's on Craigslist. Must be true. Meow TV. Well, you guys are pulling up all your one-liners because you have nothing else out of your repertoire to respond to the truth. You know, all of the people in here who are aware of what's going on and how it's being controlled, and every single thing that's been happening, and now it's literally unfolding like a flower of knowledge and awareness. And you people are like, whoa, no, that's just, well, it's on Craigslist. It has to be true. You people and you internet searchers, all you people are coming up with this BS about our country, and you're trying to say that our government is lying to us? Yeah, I am. I'm sorry to say. Sorry to tell you, but yeah, there are elements in our government that don't seem to be playing 100% properly, perfectly. That's why I want to run for president, so I can fix this. How clear do I have to be? I mean, seriously. Yeah, it's like they're afraid of the truth. You know, and if we have a problem in our country, and, you know, no country is perfect, And we've got a group of people in our country that think that they can get away with unbelievable, atrocious acts without the serious oversight of honest Americans who are simply looking on the internet and going, are you serious? Look at this. Well, look at this. And Professor Doom is one of those guys. And everyone's going, okay, well, maybe we do need to get this thing turned into a political movement to gain some steam here, because we really need to change our government and prevent these corrupt cronies from doing this mind manipulation, this false flagging, the breeding of the war and the fear and all of the necessary implementation methods that they're using to push gun control and push a war against Syria. That's really what's happening. Yeah, thank you. Well, I am very good at what I do, and I will rip through the entire facade we know as Donald Trump and explain to him that you aren't even thinking about the American people. You're forgetting us. You're so involved with wanting to be president that you've forgotten the people who really are waiting for something, and you corporate pigs aren't giving us anything. Nothing. No opportunity in school. Americans themselves have all been struggling for getting a good college education, no matter what your station in life or your race. Doesn't even matter. But if you're Caucasian, right now there's a debate going on about affirmative action. In the Supreme Court, they're talking about it again. I'm hoping they reverse affirmative action and make it so that laws do not get involved with a race. That if we offer a scholarship to somebody, it shouldn't be whether you're Caucasian or a minority as to whether you get that scholarship. It should be on merit. You should be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Okay, Nobles. The lawyer that got assigned to the case ended up being a huge problem for the false flag crew because he ended up being a good guy. And he spilled a key piece of evidence on national television that both shooters were found behind the back seat of the SUV, shot to pieces, and already in handcuffs. Thank you very much. That piece goes in my library of good chats that I keep on the side here during the show, so that, whenever we get a really good pearl of information, I just take a snapshot of it and throw it in my daily notes. And that's a good one. Thank you. Yeah, that's the key piece of evidence. So without oversight, without a justice system that's probably working, with the Supreme Court needing to make good decisions in the past, if they don't side against affirmative action, they're going to be doing another blunder, which is another mark against the Supreme Court. We have a problem with the Supreme Court. They've already given corporations the power to actually finance campaigns. I'm serious. Well, the segregationist movement, I don't support it, but people that want to secede, the secessionist movement, who want to actually pull states out of our country, I just don't get behind it, but I understand their anger. I really do. Yes, revenue sales for Smith & Wesson is reporting an all-time bumper year, gained about 10%. So these tragedies, ironically, whether they're true or not, are pushing more and more people to buy guns, not create gun control. So the opposite is happening to the people that are in thinking that they can micromanage our country by creating false flags to make us all fearful and hateful of Muslims. And then a guy like Donald Trump, who wants to capitalize on the anger toward anybody who's in ISIS, has been a complete head screw job, for lack of a better word. I would say something else, but I'm going to avoid it. We're doing okay. Hey, false flag, how you doing? We've got a false flag in the room, false flag alert. All right, now is a good time to sell, whatever. Chris Mintz busted. Yeah, we were playing that busted video earlier. It's hard for me to do a lot of the, normal show when we've got all these stories of people like Chris Mintz now standing in front of and posing in front of a camera. It's crazy to have this guy out there pretending to be, Yeah, it's disturbing. And I think what's really upsetting is a lot of these people who are paying attention are like going, how can they be so fake? How can this be such fakery right in front of our eyes? It's just not right. Why are they doing this right in front of our eyes? Music, yes. low. Thank you. Okay. David. The White House is involved in campaigning from the president's media guy. Yes, Pacific, yeah. Well, they've been working on, there have been no hidden agendas when it comes to Obama supporting the Democrats. We don't really know any other position from the Obama court. They've always positioned themselves against the Republicans. They aren't working with the Republicans on almost every issue, except when it comes to them, both of them getting money from the same sources. They love the money coming into their little private pocketbooks. This is the concept of a political prostitute. That's what they do. Maybe these shootings are real, but they want us to think they're not, so we Americans don't rise up. Well, the thing is, if you rise up against Muslims, you're doing the same thing that Hitler did against Jews. You're living that same mentality. It's an extremist mentality that if you go down that road of chaos, you will definitely destroy your entire future in this country. Because number one, you'll alienate your ability to engage politically without violence, and you will interrupt the process of government, which ultimately took a long time to achieve. Now, honestly, these false flags as they appear, in my mind, beckon a completely unnatural state of political functionality, which brings on McCarthyistic people that want to go after leftists, and then you get people on the right wing wanting to go after Muslims, and then it becomes an ethnic cleansing issue. And all of those events have never really occurred completely in our country. They've always been kept from doing that by moderate centrist leaders. And I will do that. I will bring this country back into a sense of solidarity and clarity. Because what I'm seeing is a will to react to things that they don't really know are really happening. Even that statement I just read from somebody, they're obviously confused as to whether these are true or false events. They think they are true and that maybe the government's trying to prevent us from becoming against the Muslims. But everything I've seen is driving everybody in our nation toward an anger toward Muslim people. And everyone's starting to, gather together. And this is not what we need. We don't need a xenophobic reaction. And exactly what these people want is a xenophobic reaction. And that's their end game. They want our country to turn against itself. They want to drive us apart and factionalize us and separate us. They want to keep and divide us, because this is how powerful people control countries like ours. They keep us all divided. You've heard the old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. Well, it's never been more true than right now. Our president right now is clearly acting like a Muslim, and I've been saying that for 7 years here in the third party independent realm. I've been saying that, and I've been the first anti Barack Obama guy out there. I literally am on record 3 years in advance of Donald Trump talking about Barack Obama's birth certificate issue. I'm 3 years in advance talking about the 1,000-mile fence, 3 or 4 years. I'm 3 years in advance of talking about China's tariff of 15%. He came up with a 30% idea 2 years after I came up with my 15% idea. Anyway, I'm preceding the issue politically. I'm much more ahead of him on all the issues. Donald Trump won't even touch on issues like the Fed. He won't even broach the issue of Rand Paul and Ron Paul's concern about the Fed. He won't even talk about it. Okay, and then this issue about murdered holistic doctors has been a constant issue we've talked about. We don't want you to forget that there are people dying protecting information that could very well save your life. Apparently, holistic doctors who were all being killed in Florida found out via their research that the Nagalese enzyme protein is intentionally being added to the population via immunizations. This is a really important article. Basically, Nagalase stops vitamin D from being bound to the protein. This completely strips a human being of its natural ability to kill cancer cells. This is a very important article that you just sent in. And what we're seeing is these doctors, there's about 14 or 15 of them now being killed. They were all being studied by the FDA for violations. So the FDA's list of doctors has turned out to be a mafia hit list, and they've gotten rid of these people. That's apparently what's happened. And you're wondering, can they possibly lie to us about a false flag? How can you possibly explain these shootings being staged to the old folks? Elderly that think you're nuts is saying no one was killed. What proof can I show them? You don't have any proof. That's the point I'm making. Because there's such a scant amount of proof, false flag, we have this constant realization that we're being lied to. Now, if there was an abundant amount of information showing, like with Sandy Hook, let's just briefly talk about that. There is no blood evidence presented, except for some drops outside of the Sandy Hook Elementary School. In all of the redacted footage that the Connecticut State Police presented, 11 months after the event allegedly happened. Pictures of the bodies outside showed small images, looked too small to be a body. They looked like hefty bags sitting out in a row. There was no image. There was no one in the families had a chance to see their child. One parent got to see their child, their dead body. I mean, the telltale signs of a false flag with Sandy Hook are so obvious that it's frightening. So if you don't go back to that, you'll have to just, start from this false flag and learn from here and go back in time. But you go back to Umpqua Community College a few weeks ago, obviously, a couple months ago. You're looking at a situation where, again, Chris Mintz, the guy, made $1 million on a GoFundMe page. He's on camera right now showing his body with no scars whatsoever. He's bragging about how he's done this and managed to lie and get all this attention and still gets away with it. It's like they're flaunting their power over us right now. And the American people, we're sitting here, we're the ones who are supposed to mobilize. We're the ones who are supposed to stand up and say, well, we have a political function here and we need to build this political party. My vital signs are good. But the fact of the matter is we are not able to build a party when everyone's sitting around going, oh, David, do you have a security camera footage? Offlines, off storage? There needs to be evidence if everything happens to you. Well, yes, we have a security camera system that actually has redundant backup servers. That's the nice thing about having good security. When someone has something like this, it's important to pass it on to somebody within a group, to give the keys to the security camera backup footage to one of you. And we'd love to do that. We'd love to make this political movement a group effort. But as you know, in order to get me on the ballot in your state, you actually have to go to our website, America's Third Party, and click on the state of your choice and contact your Secretary of State and ask for a petition to get me on the ballot, the president to get on the ballot. That's all you got to do. I am more than concerned that a corporate pig like Donald Trump, whose one purpose is personal greed and self-aggrandizement, is not going to be thinking about a plan like hybrid capitalism to boost our economy and build a government that actually funds itself with its own output. He's going to be draining us dry, sucking huge amounts of more credit. You think 18 trillion in debt is a lot? You could practically double it with either Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. Either one of them is going to double it. No, I don't have a brother like Lord Stephen Christ. I don't even know who Lord Stephen Christ is. Yeah, there is very little media attention about anything important, I know. Well, that's why we gather here, Pacific. So yeah, I realize that this is a very interesting group. Many of you are on the left of the political spectrum, and many of you are on the right of the political spectrum, but you're kind of lingering near the middle. And that's what I like about what we're doing. What we've been doing for 7 years is just the beginning of something great. Rome wasn't built in a day, I assure you. And it takes a long time to really understand our perspective, which is really to not spend a lot of money, but solve problems. That's really the goal. And I'm not here to borrow money so that I can pad the pockets of my cronies at Goldman Sachs or cronies over at Bain Capital like Mitt Romney was doing. I wouldn't do the cronyist thing. In fact, I'll be relatively inert when it comes to corporate America. I'm going to be mostly working in the government realm to start up operations like our homestead renewal plan, our mobile medical units in the VA system, and our plan to create like an education 6-week to 6-month education plan with our universities, so that a lot of you can get jobs right away in the private sector. When we set up a community college tuition program, which is free if you qualify, or very low cost if you don't, where you can get in 6 weeks to 6 months certification in a field of your choice that's partnered with the private sector. Those are the 3 big things we can do to build jobs in America. And the fourth thing is to create an infrastructure bank that'll trigger micro loans of $1,000 per family, or per person, I should say, per person. Per U.S. citizen can get a $1,000 micro loan from the infrastructure bank. Anyone who wants to build a business that they're currently running and showing profit will be able to build that business if they want a 2% loan, and we'll be giving you like initially $100,000 at a time just to test the waters. If you want a 2% loan to start and build your business, we'll give you that if you hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. Now, this is a bypass to a lot of the problems that the Republicans and Democrats are having with the minimum wage laws. I support a $10 minimum wage, but I'm not going to push for a $15 one like some Democrats want to do. So that's the difference between me and people like that. But at the same time, I'm not like Donald Trump or many of the Republicans that want to get rid of the minimum wage, which is absurd. And we will not restrict semi-automatic weapons for government workers only. No. I don't support any gun control at this point. It's a volatile issue. No pun intended. The reason I don't support gun control, guys, and you guys on the left who really want gun control, is every single Holocaust in the history of Holocausts has been preceded by gun control. That means that what happens when a tyrannical government forms, it tries to disarm its population. And when it does that, then we see ethnic cleansing, we see killing, we see incarceration, we see a police state that grows out of that. I don't believe that that's necessary to define what guns should be. I was, when I started this, in favor of an assault weapons ban, and I've completely reversed my position on that after talking to so many people who've convinced me that criminals can get these guns. Why would we take that right away from citizens? All right, so bearing arms is something inherent in our Second Amendment, and we want to make sure that you understand that interpretation is going forward. So for those of you on the right of the political spectrum, I'm definitely going to protect your gun rights, all right? The only thing I've talked about is an automatic online check through NCIS of data backgrounds, instantaneous checks if you're selling a gun to somebody. No registration requirements, no keeping of your name or the name of the person buying the guns, just a verification process that's in and out to see if that person's a violent mental patient who's wanted to kill himself or others, or if he's a capital criminal who's been involved in a gun crime. Those are the most important thing that I think we need to deal with. No registration, no keeping of names, no lists. Now, as far as the police force in our country, I'm going to be able to save a lot of money by eliminating the need for the department or the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA. They draw $26 billion a year in enforcing marijuana interdiction. And one of the key things that I have in our book, Hybrid Capitalism, is legalization of marijuana. That's central. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it is to save the country $26 billion a year in marijuana interdiction. Currently, the DEA is charging that. And we're wasting crops, too, and money, and derivative products like hemp. We've got the idea of making hemp, paper. You talking about textiles, we can make bricks out of this stuff. Hempoline, the possibility of hempoline. Another product that can be integrated in our diesel supply and actually get better cost savings for people who are diesel truck drivers and clean their engines at the same time. So, ironically, that's a big part of our book, legalizing marijuana and saving the country money on interdiction. Our private prison system itself is a problem. It's using our existing government law and the police state that's forming under the two parties to get larger. We have more people in prisons than any other nation in the world per capita. More than North Korea. It's amazing. North Korea has 1 out of 100 people is in a prison. We have 2.3 out of every 100 people is in a prison or involved in parole or dealing with their prison-related issues. No, forcing a mandatory law for every citizen to carry a gun is absurd. You people on the right that want me to push for more guns, you need to back off. You're lucky I'm where I'm at right now. I'm not going to push for more guns. I'm not going to make, if you want to buy a machine gun, I'm not going to make it available to buy automatic weapons. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be working on behalf of you. And perhaps that's why the NRA gave me a C-, because they know inherently that I'm going to be that kind of a person. I don't mind. I'm actually proud of the fact that they gave me a C-. I support gun rights, but not to that extent. That's ridiculous. Plus, the verification issue put me in the C- category. Once I asked for verification, the NRA hated me. And I couldn't get them to retract their grading system. I got no response from them when I emailed them and got nothing. Personally, I don't have a problem with squirt guns. I think they're perfectly fine, as long as they're not squirting acid. Look, everybody knows the limits on what we have, and why we are currently, talking about guns and gun rights is we've got so many problems unraveling that I can't even begin to enumerate which ones we need to talk about first. Yeah. Stimulating the private sector is probably our biggest problem. So a lot of jobs are going to come from small businesses, which means we have to reduce regulations across the board. We need to shrink government at the same time. While we reduce regulations, we need to shrink government. When I talk about a national composting plan, I'm adding some jobs, mind you. I'm taking some federal property and converting it into, like a 5-acre parcel will be turned into a large area where we can work with soil, bring in organic matter, integrate hemp and melt hemp into a hempoline. I want regional centers where we can do this so we are sustainable in the event of a disaster. And I also believe that we'll be able to actually segue to a different approach where you'll be able to buy a bag of fertilizer for 50 cents or maybe even get it for free. If you bring the bag back, it'll be like a deposit fee. We want to make it incredibly easy for you to grow things. Now, we've seen from the models in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, when the economy gets really bad, they rebounded by blooming within their infrastructure regionally. So in our book, we talk about regionalization. Now, not the kind of regionalization the Democrats are pitching, because I came up with my regionalization plan before they did. Regionalization, in my mind, is just getting local profit centers to work for themselves. Melting hemp is what they do to create hempoline. But the National Composting Plan is actually ultimately a plan that will equal the WPA of FDR. It's a similar plan. Remember WPA or the Conservation Corps, the CCC? Well, those were the organizations that, believe it or not, got our nation out of the Depression. Now, the reason why I know that is I read history. And our leaders, like Ben Bernanke, the former chairman of the Federal Reserve, he read the same history, but he didn't translate that history into action. And consequently, when Barack Obama was asked, Mr. Obama, do you think the government should create jobs? Mr. Obama had his teleprompter off at the time. And he responded by saying, well, and you know how he kind of skips whenever he doesn't have anything to say. The government is not responsible for creating jobs. The government is not responsible for creating jobs? And you want to trigger growth in your economy? I mean, I'm like freaking out when I hear that. So clearly I want the government to help stimulate the job sector. And starting with a national composting plan, that certainly is a good start. We'll be hiring probably 10 to 20 people in every area initially. Don't need to do the cast and blackface because frankly I never really wanted to in any way denigrate African Americans. I always wanted to make sure people knew that this was just an impersonation of Barack Obama. It was not in any way. Wow, some people think I'm some sort of Alex Jones over here. I'm not. I'm different because I'm not paid and owned and controlled by the elitists. He is. He's a shill for the industrial complex. He actually gets a check cut to him from Skunk Works Productions. I'm sure of it. I can't prove it, but I'm sure of it. Children herded like cattle into Maryland courthouse for forced vaccinations as armed police and attack dogs stand guard. Whoa, are you serious? That's a shocker. Oh my God. Yeah, this is a real political movement for any of you who don't understand that over there. Wow. It just gets weirder and weirder as we go. I'm just so surprised that this country has turned into this basket case. Following the state of Maryland's threats against parents who refused to have their children vaccinated, children were herded into a Price George County courthouse being guarded by armed personnel with attack dogs. Inside, the children were forcibly vaccinated, many against their will, under orders from the state attorney general, various state judges, a local school board director, all of whom illegally conspired to threaten parents with imprisonment if they did not submit their children to vaccinations. The state of Maryland has now turned to Gestapo tactics to force its medical will upon the people, stripping parents of any right to decide how they wish to protect their own children from infectious disease. This is bizarre. Folks, we're already there. George Orwell was right, but it was a few years later. This is 1984, and Big Brother is watching. Wow. They did force it. They did it, and what are we going to do? Nothing, like everyone else? We're building a political movement, Guest 664. I would love to have people in Maryland running against the two parties right now. Are you pissed off? I'm pissed off. Look, this is an insane situation. I'm reading if I'm going to verify this, you're right, I need to verify it, but if I'm going to verify it and find out it's true, yes, vaccinations clearly could be responsible for the spike in autism. Let me share something with you. The science is definitely skewed on vaccinations. Just because they may have worked in a few cases doesn't mean they work with all viruses. And these flu vaccines are carrying this deadly nagalase. In fact, they all may have them built into the product that is installed in it called squalene. Nagalase is this product that is found in tumor-producing situations. It strips the vitamin D, I just read that for you, of its protective layering, making your cells vulnerable to cancer. Anyway, they're literally now forcing these vaccinations with this deadly compound into the children, and when they get hit with too many vaccinations at once, it triggers a reaction. Now, recently, there was a CDC guy named Thompson who openly stated that they had withheld 138 pages of documents, 138,000 pages of documents in a study on vaccinations of African American children and autism. And that CDC guy named Thompson is no longer available for questioning. They got rid of him. He was the guy that held records, and he said he had backup drives of these records showing African Americans were having a result very unnatural. It was extremely disturbing. 38% of the sampling were coming down with serious defects like twitches, behavior disorders. So yeah, a lot of suppressed evidence from the CDC, even they have admitted. Our government oversight committees, all these things are failing us. Our entire government is failing us from the incessant desire of these elitists to impinge their will upon the American people and continue the plan for depopulation. Using industrial waste in our environment, sticking us with needles, violating our freedoms, We need a political party like no other in the history of political parties. And then we got this venomous greedmonger, Donald Trump, sitting in the wings saying he doesn't know whether he's going to be a third party independent or don't test me, Republicans. I mean, this attitude he has is, come on, Donald, come on into the third party realm and take me on. I will hit you with more information so fast you'll be babbling. You'll be going to Ivanka saying, if only I could date my daughter. Beekman, shut up. I'll talk about Trump anytime I want. Don't tell me what to say. Don't you realize you cannot suppress freedom of speech? And thank God we have it in this country. He is a monger of greed. Thank God we've got this freedom of speech and this internet. You know, the elitists don't like this. They don't like what we're doing. You know that, right? Because we're violating the golden rule. People with the gold make the rules. Do you realize this? That we're probably one of the only efforts out on the internet doing just this, building a political consensus among people, like-minded people in the middle of the political spectrum. And they're worried. Because if this gets closer to their little home that they control, the mainstream media, and soon our story is reaching out in international venues right now, we're already seeing venues open up in Japan and Italy. We've already got people sending my videotape around the world because they think it's funny, and some people are profiting. I don't know what the hell they're doing with it, but they're doing something with it, and it's working. All the efforts I put in to bypass the censorship that they put in place is working. Wow. Yeah, I can't imagine, but if you guys pay for it, that's your choice. Oh, I do believe it. It's already breaking through the ice. You can feel it. You can feel the crack. It's the crack in the cosmic egg of mind manipulation. It's the crack in the censorship grid of Operation Monarch, Operation Mockingbird, Operation Artichoke, Operation Cable Splice. Breaking through the grid is what I've done. And it gives me a sense of confidence that I'm on the right track, that I could actually do this. Because most people don't believe in themselves. I don't only believe in myself, I believe I will lead this nation. But I need your help. I don't want capitalists profiting from what's happening here. I don't want somebody so greedy they've got to make money all the time on every single event that goes on. I will shift networks if necessary. I'll move to another network if I have to on any given day because of the need to grow. But right now, I'm using the best of the free internet, and I think it's great. But there's no deals here between me and any other network. I don't cut deals because this is a completely natural, organic experience. It's live, real time, and in your face. And it's completely evolving every day. Thank you. I don't have to show. It's common knowledge. Obama said the government is not responsible for creating jobs. All right? You Democrats have been asleep at the switch so long you don't even know what your own president said. You're so busy gloating on your power that you forgot what he said. I don't want to go back into historical archives and pull up every last word that it's been public knowledge for years. My God. Pump the Trump. What's that mean? Are you like are you having sex with some effigy of Trump? Anonymous is here. Hey, hi guys. How's it going? You're out of Langley, right? Yeah, you work out of Langley. That's what I heard. Yeah, they've got their own little cadre of political pundits out there, even in the realm of the obscure, like Anonymous. Well, can you prove to me that you're not working out of the government? Make yourself more credible to me, because right now I tend to believe Anonymous is co-opted by the government. Frankly, yeah, Obama's lies have been, enough to inundate all of us. Can I finish? Not true? No. Look, slanderous accusations are not my thing. I have made statements that it can be verified historically. I don't correct myself when it's in the historical record. It just simply check the record. Thank you. Is the Obama administration being run by the Muslim Brotherhood? Many people have asked that about Obama's cabinet. I don't know. He's had a lot of big black guys working, as Secret Service agents. I'm not sure. They could be part of Louis Farrakhan's group. I'm not sure. But would that surprise you if he was? I mean, you've got a guy who's has a history of homosexuality, a Muslim sympathizer. I mean, what can I say? Then you get the Donald Trump in response. And why? I was wondering why Loretta Finch hasn't prosecuted Donald Trump for hating on Muslims. Loretta Lynch just threatened Donald Trump or anyone who says anything against Muslims. And I don't say anything against Muslims, so I'm immune to that. I guess this isn't rolling out. Well, that's kind of cool. I'll take a look at that later. It's from the Israel Video Network. Okay, things are getting a little weird here in Linkland. Hey Dave, this is the future, Frankie. Okay, what do you got, Frankie? Well, by the way, the National Composting Plan is in force right now, except you're the compost. Okay? I didn't tell you that earlier. Yeah, I would never do that. I would only use food byproducts. But right now, I believe they're implementing their National Composting Plan for the whole country. That was supposed to be a joke, but it wasn't very funny. Russia prepares for nuclear war with the launch of invincible doomsday plane. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. They're speeding up preparations for their World War III launch of its doomsday plane. Yeah, those riskies, they're always doing those special things to make us all frightened. I would definitely broach communication, reach out, talk to him, and work things out about Syria and Ukraine. The superpower's new airborne command center, which will allow it to maintain control of its armed forces in the event of a global disaster or nuclear war, will be ready for operations this month. The military has completed tests for Flying Nerve Center on board a giant modified Ilyushin Tu-80 aircraft. Its manufacturers boast the mobile war room will be invincible. It is so nice to hear it from the enemy, challenging us. Boy, Barack Obama really spun this whole thing into operation when he called Vladimir Putin a jackass. Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have to have historical proof of that too? Wow. These Democrats, they want me to write down every little thing and give a little note and a bibliographical reference point. Because this is the first time they've questioned their president. And now that they see the specter of Donald Trump coming on the horizon and all the people that dislike Muslims, and I'm not one of them because personally I think you have the right to choose your own religion. I don't like people that hate on people who don't agree with them. And if you're a Muslim that believes you want to kill infidels, then obviously I'm going to see you as intolerant. And we'll do whatever we can to arrest you. Yes. Thanks for the link, Carl. We don't have a soft stance on the Muslims, but we don't have a hard one like Donald Trump. He's got a hard-on for getting rid of people. He obviously likes the police state. He obviously is siding with the Federal Reserve and all the monarchs the New World Order can put out. And these corporate pigs like him simply use that platform to manipulate average people like you. That's the reality. This story from Fox. Afghan men training at Georgia Air Force Base reported missing. Wow. See? The national composting plan of people has begun. 2 men from Afghanistan who were undergoing training at an Air Force base in Georgia have been reported missing. Wow, I wonder why. You know, somebody's wafting the flame of hatred against Muslims. And it's certainly not me. I just don't believe that people who want to kill others should have a place in a country that's dedicated to freedom. People that want to kill anybody that doesn't agree with them, we in our country we call them murderers, okay? And we go after them. We have law enforcement arrest them. But we're not talking about Muslims. We're talking about jihadists when we refer to those people. Thank you. Big difference. Now, 2 Afghan trainees missing from the... I just don't need to hear that we have an importation of Afghan trainees into our country. I really don't need to hear that. So, you know, in deference to Fox News and their horrible video server that takes forever.
2 Afghan trainees are missing at this hour from an Air Force base in South Georgia. The 2 students didn't show up for duty Monday. At Moody Air Force Base, they're now being sought by federal authorities. Air Force officials say both men have been at that base since February. They've been screened, they say, before they were allowed into the United States more than a year ago.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's nice that a blonde, bleached blonde woman could give me that information. It's always nice to get good stuff. You keep saying pump the Trump. Are you involved with a voodoo doll or something that looks like Donald Trump? Okay. Dave, are for real, or is this some satire taking on American politics? Oh, I'm for real, Johnny. You haven't gone to our website, America's Third Party. Is it because you don't see it? The letters are too small or something? Way crooked? Is that better? I can't seem to do anything with my hair. What can I do to make it better for you? If you're having a problem with my bad hair day, I don't know if anyone ever has. No. Yeah, it's hard for me to take you seriously, Johnny, if you haven't even bothered to go to my website. I do prefer brunettes. Would you like me to be a brunette? Hang on. Is that better? Now, could you take me more seriously as a brunette? Let me get my real hair under there. Way better. Okay. Well, let me enlighten you. Sure. I can be a brunette. I can be anything you want me to be. I look like Bruce, yeah. Cool. Just got to get a little clip here. Hang on. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses. That way I don't have to darken my eyebrows. That way I don't have to darken my mind with your thoughts. Hey, so what's going on? You want to hear more about my career as a former Beatle? I didn't have one. Because I didn't have a career as a former Beatle. You like, this is more presidential for you? Okay. Mr. Anderson. You know, it makes me want to modify. I should do a different wig a night. You know, I do different ties every night. Like tonight's my crap brown tie because, you know, I live in the land of septic waste. We haven't even played a song. We've lasted this long. It's amazing. Yeah, here in the rolling hills of septic mounds, it's a beautiful place where I live. Today we had so much rain. I went outside and I could just smell the septic systems. The water pushes it right up, and there's the scent of fecal matter. I just love it. Yeah. Don't you love the scent of fecal matter? Especially in Joe Carver, our local area. You would not believe. It's actually... I don't know how that happened. Sorry.
Stable self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Oh, behave. Yeah, we got a local area called Oak Harbor. I call it Joe Carver.
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to
Because
access files.
they are spending $110 million on a sewage transfer station. Do you know what a sewage transfer station is?
It can only be attributable to human error. It can only be attributable to human error. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You're right. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is.
It is a place.
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to access files.
It is a place where they dry crap. I don't know if you even go where I'm going here. They took a beautiful bay, a place where...
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the
Thank you.
Matrix is.
Got it. They're taking a beautiful bay and covering it completely with sewage, sludge. Yeah. I'll tell you how horribly mismanaged our local area is. It's unbelievable. Oak Harbor literally had a massive disaster, a once every 50 or 100 year situation where the rain came in, and we're getting so much rain up here because of the industrial waste being dumped in our atmosphere, that waste management is facing an endless battle to keep that waste processed. So they commissioned an entire RV area and took it over, and they've converted it into a waste management nightmare, in which fecal matter is sitting out in front of everybody, which is a health hazard. All the while, they're asking all the people in the area to, check their septic and pay fees up to $800 a year to pump their septic, and where they're putting that septic, God knows, I don't know. Then they pump it out, they send it somewhere. It's just moving crap around. So basically our entire legislative branch here in the democratic state of Washington is all about moving crap around and looking inside your ass to see what's coming out of your ass. And testing and measuring how much ass crap is in your septic. And laying the septic waste out in front of everybody. And also, they've got another project locally for $2 million to do another septic lift or a sewage transfer lift, which I called and found out it wasn't even necessary. They actually have a $1.8 million project funded by the estate, which is, by the way, bankrupt. And they didn't even need to do it. There was no problem. It was working fine. They decided to dig up a perfectly good road, which was put in a year earlier at a great cost, and then rip into it for a $1.8 million. So this is costing like $2-3 million, and they have to shut down the water to homes for 4 days during a shutdown period. You can imagine people in that area having to look in their toilets for 4 days and seeing 4 days worth of crap. That's what's going on in my area. Yeah. So the whole thing is insane. You have coffee at Whidbey Coffee Shop, Dave. I do not. It has been told that this policy is not necessary for me to actually go to the coffee shop. I can operate digitally in the virtual world. Format change. Yeah, Mount Baker's near Oak Harbor. Yeah. Well, the whole thing is, you're talking about people moving crap around and charging everybody for it. That's what you're talking about. $110 million project. I'm just telling you. That's just one of the many wastes of money going on here. Thank you, DT Laura. Yeah, we're seeing an unbelievable situation where, to wrap things up and kind of, give you some summation here, because obviously I don't want everything to be hanging out there talking about false flags all night, every night. The government put this upon us. I wouldn't be wasting your time on false flags if the government hadn't produced the false flags. So we would be talking more about solving problems. There's waste in the water, in the ocean. Tremendous amount of water waste. And we need to clean our oceans too. And I believe that we can do that. Make a donation, Beekman, if you really want to get behind our plan. Don't just talk about all the great nonsensical ideas you think are going to work. I can buy TV commercials for $5 a spot. Make a $5 donation and I'll buy a TV commercial. We have a plan to do TV commercials in 2016 as the 2016 election comes into focus. But one of the things that we want to do that's different than the two parties, or two of the things we want to do, is bring our troops home and end the Federal Reserve. That's something that will really save this nation a tremendous amount of money. Because the Federal Reserve is untethered. They're doing whatever they want to print money up, create credit default swaps, literally funding the backbone of a collapse in our economy. Hey there, how you doing? Well, if I did have eyebrows, they'd have to be a little darker, so I'd have to put some dark paint here or something. I could go with different sunglasses, but I don't think that'll help. It kind of does. It actually does help a little bit. Nice hair. Hey, thank you. This is an authentic human hair wig from 1966. I feel sorry for the person that actually had this hair. Yeah. 1966 authentic wig, yeah. From the actual the period of the Beatles. We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Stanley Kubrick confessed to the moon landing being a hoax. This story is a tremendous journey into an odyssey into awakening and how the government has deceived us for so many years on so many different levels. This video, I'm going to play the first 30 minutes only tonight, shooting Stanley Kubrick. An in-depth study of what happened to this man, why he died, and perhaps why we will never know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okie dokie. Yeah, so if you don't take me seriously, I can't take you seriously, Johnny Cardinal. That's how it is. Yeah, looking like a gangster, yeah. Would you prefer something a little bit more like Tony Montana? Okay. 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 Say hello to my little friend. Okay. Oh. Tony, don't ever screw me, Tony. Oh, okay, Mr. Sosa. David, I feel I have a lot of inner hatred built up in you. Oh, I don't. No, I don't. I'm a very loving individual. No, not a lot of anger at all. More concerned about cow flatulence, actually. I developed an idea. A very cool butt plug, which could be retrofitted on the animal's anus. And we could provide a definite solution to a lot of the bad things that are happening right now with greenhouse gases. Now, if you're a Democrat and you're really worried about, greenhouse gases, I can tell you that this is a better solution than to tax you for eating a steak. Now, the animal will not suffer with the retrofit of this amazing butt plug, which actually compresses the flatulence on the fly and allows a throughput of fecal matter out of the animal's anus. Many of you may need to be retrofitted with this as well, but I'm not going to force that on you. Just be on record. I know you guys believe there's a mirror on the moon. I know it doesn't exist. It's actually artificially created. It's a CGI effect. Nice try though. There's not a credible scientist out there that would agree that it actually exists on the moon. But yeah, this anal butt plug is a retrofit idea we came up with at Cool Rock. This is one of our flagship think tank organizations we put together to solve problems. This is how we built the backbone of our book, Hybrid Capitalism. We looked at all the different dynamics that were affecting global climate change. And I don't necessarily believe that global climate change is really happening in the way you think it is. We are having a cold effect. We're entering an ice age right now. Let's take a look at that chat get banged prank. I don't think I want to do that, man. Time magazine names Angela Merkel as Person of the Year. It's now announced the woman who opened the borders of Germany and is now leading a civil unrest within the country of Germany because of this is going to be picked as the person on the cover of. It's all rigged. Yeah, it's all a rich man's game. Angela is part of their little cadre of hand-picked, controlled politicians. Yeah, she's just one of their yes people. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, I'm sure the artist was commissioned a lot of money. Not to mention the cost of the putty. Oh my God. That's more oil paint than is ever put on a human face in the history of oil painting. That's pathetic. Okay. Is this guy a homosexual? Nope. No way. No how. I'm a straight guy. This is not a bad improv show. This is, you are going to be purged if you try to denigrate me in my show. Okay? Now, you know full well that I had to pull out the butt plug because somebody came in here and said I was suffering from a lot of inner anger. Yeah. No, I'm actually more concerned about the government impinging its will upon the American people. This is a fart-friendly chat, yes. I'm not going to tax you on your flatulence. But this little cow here is an example of what we could harvest per day. 48, believe it or not, every single cow in America, every milker, can produce 48 gallons of flatulence methane a day. Do you have any idea how much energy that is in methane alone? And if we converted that methane into liquid gas, we wouldn't need to go drill for oil. We'd have it right out of the cow's ass. Do you hear what I'm saying? And you thought Donald Trump had something on me, huh? He's got nothing on me. This is an actual scientific study done on animals in Bolivia. Don't worry about how it's going to be held. It's using levitation technology. It'll be a levitating butt plug. I'm not a comedian. I'm a political pundit, apparently. Do you ever listen to Michael Savage? Nope, I don't. I don't want to be tainted by some right-wing neocon, Zionist. Not my thing. I've got enough Zionists with Donald Trump right now. Thank you. But no, this is a typical study done, and this cow produced that much flatulence in one day. Well, I'm trying to explain to you how educational this is. Yes. I'm just getting started in the education hour. Don't agree with Beekman. It only gives him a sense of purpose. Right now, he's groping for a meaning of life. He doesn't realize that the government lies to everybody they can. He's one of those Republicans who believe that just giving business free rein will help solve all the world's problems, when all the businesses out there only care about one thing, and that's profit. Let me show you. I'm getting ready to show you something special. I'm going to my link library and I'm going to pull up something very cool. More suspicious phone purchases reported in mid-Missouri. You're open-minded? I didn't know there were suspicious phone purchases reported in Mid-Missouri. I mean, this is a news item for me. Hang on, I'm getting to something cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, my hair wasn't... I was having a bad hair day. As soon as someone asked me to recomb it...
Well, you have that other wig.
Well, you don't like this wig?
No.
You don't?
Not on you.
Oh.
It's... I don't know. It's not...
It's not becoming?
Not really.
Okay.
The other one is much more becoming.
She's being very honest. Okay, I'll get the other one on.
Sorry.
Hang on. No, that's okay.
Being honest.
That's okay. I'm glad you're being honest. You may want to pull the cow off the screen, if you don't mind.
I'll try.
I was just talking about my solution to animal waste. We met a dairy digester guy, or a guy near dairy digesters. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a little bit off. Yeah. I don't know where the other one is.
I don't even know.
Or did I see it? No, I don't know.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I had it for Halloween. That one.
Yeah. Oh, if you enjoy that. I thought I saw it over there, but...
I got a small one here.
What about right there?
This is it. Yeah, this is the good one.
Hi, how is my Canadian sister? I thought I guess my sweater's fine. I thought I smudged it. I was eating beans. No, hummus actually.
Oh, you have some good.
I had some hummus.
Cool.
I know. Yes, I do respond to typing. That's what I'm good for. Oh, that'll be fun with you, George Washington. There you go. That's much better. I don't know. It's just a better color.
Well,
Here. I'll help you. There you go.
Thanks.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, that's a much better color.
I feel better now.
I'm better as a brunette.
I feel
You're
new,
better as a
fresh
blonde.
again. Yeah. Beekman accused me of having a lot of internal anger. Built up, spent anger. I don't believe I do. I've come to a lot of resolves. I realize that we're powerless. The American people don't have any power at all. That we are right now like lemmings walking off a cliff, and I just don't want to just go down without a fight. So if you are interpreting my vision for America as internal anger, you are completely off base. It's actually me trying to save the nation. Different than your concept of... Hang on.
Oh, something fell.
Gravity took off back there. All right, yeah. So yeah, this is...
Thanks for the hug.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, it's time for a change, and everything's ramping up in the media with all these players out there, and George Bush is Jeb Bush is now saying that this picture of Clinton and Trump together implies that there's a situation going on. It's just weird. Let me show you. They were together at Trump's wedding. Remember Melania?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here they were at the wedding, dining and talking, and but people don't realize that just last year Trump made a donation to Hillary's campaign for president. Yeah, Jeb is still running.
Huh.
And Jeb actually made that very available for everyone. There really is a conspiracy going on. Trump has been put into the mix to drive votes to Hillary. That's why he's coming off as an extreme right-wing guy. Hillary still wants to win. So they're coming up. What Trump is doing is trying to sabotage the Republican Party right now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just go and look at Hillary's records. It's in FEC.gov, I'm sure.
Trump actually funded Hillary. Yeah.
In 2008 or 2012?
Yeah.
I believe in 2012, I'm sure.
Yeah. He actually made a donation, sizable donation. So, yeah, people aren't of the clarity that most people need in order to realize that this guy is probably playing a hostile takeover game of the Republican Party and weakening its ability to function, thereby giving Democrats the lead. Democrats need everything they can get in this upcoming election because the real economy is not good, and they're being blamed for this. And the Democrats have no answers. They have never had any answers. They never created shovel-ready jobs like Obama promised. They never created a pathway to a good quality education at a low price. They never solved the health care crisis with the universal health care plan. Obamacare is not a universal health care plan. So no, what I have is not anger. It's actually, I'm concerned that our country is going to be manipulated by very powerful people forever. And I don't want to live my life in this country thinking that I didn't do anything to stop it. That's really what's motivating me. And, I realize everybody has their own choice. I support free will. I recognize freedom of speech. I also recognize the rights of people to call me names. I actually support your freedom of speech to call me names. But discuss when astronomers from around the world want a precise measurement. Yeah. No, the reality is Mythbusters is a controlled show run by very powerful people. You don't think they'd be able to do that show with a low budget, do you? Really? Have you seen that show? They're completely staging the event, and it's integrating perfectly, seamlessly with the virtual character the NASA developed for the moon. They have an artificial moon constructed. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever seen a complete picture of the moon in space, other than the artistically rendered picture that I'm going to show you right now?
I thought that was from space.
No.
What do you mean?
Well, I'll show you one of the telltale signs of this picture being...
The blue marble.
Yeah, it's called the blue marble.
Why didn't you Google the blue marble? I'll Google the blue marble.
In just a second, I want to play the blue marble for you.
I'm not talking about the spinning animation. Yes, that was an animation, but I'm talking about a single image has been taken.
Well, they don't even... Yeah. If you can verify that...
That's definitely a composite of images that were taken.
Yes. But I want to give you the reins in just a second. I'm going to drop this behind us.
I have it open. It's still loading.
Okay.
George Washington one. For some reason, it's still loading. George Washington one.
Yeah. Literally ridiculous. What do you mean? Sarah doesn't think I'm crazy. That's just not true. My God. Yeah, it's taking too long to
stop
load.
The image from spinning in the background because it takes when it's spinning in the background, that takes up more.
You're right. More bandwidth.
Great. Why is it closing?
I was going to open it.
I actually wanted to see that.
Okay. David, here can the picture. Here you can the picture tampering. Okay. Mysterious structures on Mars. Most are intentionally hidden. The new discoveries that gives the researcher coordinates. A Martian city. We're going into Mars here. It shows you the picture tampering. Yeah, I saw a similar one on the...
Minecraft?
Minecraft much? Yeah, it's amazing. I can't distinguish this from computer animated graphics. What's the point in me looking at it? I'll look at it a little bit later, Frankie. Thank you. It's okay. Well, I was having a bad hair day. And, one of those days, again, where just, So I use this wig just to, kind of make myself feel better. So you understand that I'm a real person. I'm not an audio animatrized robotic presidential candidate. That I actually am real. And my speech and coordinated word articulation is smooth and lifelike, a normal person. Sarah likes the wig, yes.
I do like this wig, yes.
I haven't, we've been broadcasting over there at the UV log place for some time. I'm anxious to go in and see how many chatters we have over there. My hair is far better than the wig. I thought you liked my look. I am confused. Now I am receiving chat responses from people saying they do not like my look, that my wig is actually not appropriate. You can understand why they are upset, Sarah. David, did you get in a fight with the lawnmower? His hair is horrible. I kind of like my hair. I don't normally assess my looks. I am not a narcissist like Donald Trump. I do like the feel of the site, though. Oh, the bigger site? Yeah. It's starting to get bigger. Ja, man. I should try the dreadlocks, man. Ja, Rasta, man. David, can you stop? Don't stop. Oh, you want to play the music, Beekman? No. No, I cannot comply with a yawn. No, Beekman, not now. We are not going to be forced to listen to bad music, but that's good music. It looks better than Trump's. There you go. See? I just got a compliment. Somebody said I look better than Trump's wig. Wait a second. Stop there. You're complaining about my hair, and this is John Adams' hair, and you're saying...
I consider him the smartest president ever.
He was considered one of the smartest presidents ever. Did you hear that? Ever? And you're complaining about my hair. That's so funny.
He studied law at Harvard and was an early supporter of the movement for U.S. independence from the British.
Do you think that Mark will try to force people to pay for this site on VonLive.tv? I don't know. I'm not really sure.
He helped negotiate a peace treaty during the Revolutionary War and avoided a war with France during his presidency.
Do you think I am here? Or do you think I'm a hologram standing in front of a camera? Do you think I'm real? Do you think that I'm real?
This is Thomas Jefferson's hair.
Oh, yes. See? You could tell he was doing a little comb over from behind back then. You see that? I could easily look like him. My God, I'm a spitting image of him,
He was
sir.
notably a bad public speaker.
Oh, yes. He had a problem. He stammered and he stuttered. My fellow Americans.
He eliminated an unpopular tax on whiskey.
Oh, yeah. He eliminated an unpopular tax on whiskey. And here you thought I was still alive. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's me, Thomas Jefferson. Hey, howdy doodies.
Just take off your sunglasses. And
oh, yeah, totally.
There. That looks like him. Yeah.
My fellow Americans, I don't know how to speak very well, but I'm a brilliant man. I speak 5 languages and read over 1,200 words a second.
Oh, goodness.
You know that he was a brilliant man. He had some amazing characteristics.
The second smartest president.
Yeah, second smartest. I believe I would be the first smartest. Oh, score. And actually, that was someone else.
Oh, sorry. The next one.
I've been exposed.
John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy. Here we go.
Oh, I could. Maybe have some blow up his face.
Just hold that picture.
Third smartest president, 35th president of the U.S., served less than 3 years before he was assassinated. Graduated from Harvard in 1940, joined the Navy.
My fellow Americans, it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country. I'm going to get back to Hattisport and be with Bobby. I'll be right back. Let's get the Learjet going. Oh, they didn't have Learjets back then. I forgot. Hey, that's been fun, you know.
He had a boat.
Oh, he had a big boat, yeah. You know, I saw his house. It's a beautiful house. He had a couple of houses.
Didn't they say Bill Clinton is number 4?
Kennedy had serious back problems. It was a lot of medication.
John Jay, he seems very serious.
Dave, are you related to this guy?
No, James Madison, I mean.
James Madison? No. I know. Yeah, she does look a lot like me, yes. JFK went to Harvard. Obama never went to Harvard. No, Obama, that's just a myth. Obama never went to Harvard. He never went to Columbia. Yeah. Nice try, though. There's no proof he was actually at Harvard. Yes. He was a Harvard man.
Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Trade Commission Act.
Yeah, well, that's old news, man. That's June 29th, NBC firing Donald Trump after he calls Mexicans rapists and drug runners. You Democrats are like, you're coming in this show thinking you're going to somehow say bad things about Donald Trump. It's going to help. Keep it up. At least I like hearing more from you. That's good.
The guy in the background is Woodrow Wilson.
This is the architect.
President.
Yeah. He had an IQ of 152. 3 points lower than our President Jimmy Carter. Oh, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter has an IQ of 155. Anyway, Woodrow Wilson was a very destructive president. He actually was the reason why our country signed the Federal Reserve Act. And many people believe it was signed under duress and didn't have enough signatures.
And he wanted to create a League of Nations.
Yeah, he's kind of the root reason why... Oh, here's my namesake. He's the root reason why we have a problem with the UN. Yes, this is spam. He says it's not spam. It is spam. Oh, sorry, I purged the wrong person.
He's just trying to learn his alphabet, maybe.
Nope, I'm not unemployed. You have to seek employment to be unemployed. Yeah, I've read the definition. Anyone seeking employment who cannot find it is considered unemployed. So technically you are incorrect. I'm retired. Trump sings White Christmas. Well, do you mind if I sing White Christmas? I can do a little Bing Crosby. I'm dreaming. Hang on. We gotta. Of a white Christmas. Just like the one I used to know. Okay, we got some problems here. Do not promote Trump in our chat room, and do not spam in our chat room, or I will permanently remove you from the show.
Go learn that alphabet somewhere else.
Trump doesn't make any sense at all. He's borrowing my ideas. If he makes any sense at all, it's because he's borrowed my ideas. I'm dreaming of a black Christmas. It would be more multicultural, I think, if we had that.
Where everybody gets along.
Yeah, really. Where everyone gets along. Oh, sure.
Where there's no fighting.
You're having a nice hair day, too.
No.
Yeah, no worries. Where no terrorist ISIS threats exist. Da da da. I'm not borrowing his hair. No, this is not his hair. Just saying.
Liking everyone in the streets.
Trump makes no sense at all unless he borrowed my ideas. That's what I said. You are incorrectly mischaracterizing my statement. Reverse. 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 Homeland Security Chairman Michael McCall says the rise of ISIS is the fault of none other than Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. I'll be darned. The truth from Homeland Security is coming on board. You know, if Homeland Security is against this, God knows who's in charge of this. Is it CIA? Is it Hillary Clinton? Who is it? that is putting this facade of a threat of ISIS in front of our face. He says, I would say that she and the president are responsible for ISIS rearing its ugly head. Well, that's interesting. Very interesting. He argued that the lack of status forces agreement in Iraq was mainly responsible for the security implosion in that country. Well, I come to it from a different angle. I tend to believe that they orchestrated the entire event. Oh, come on. You're kicking a dead horse here. God, man, this guy has like 20 browsers in front of him with all guests lined up, and he's pasting every single one, acting like he's multiple people in the chat room. We're going to do guest off. Thank you. Wow.
Take a break.
Yeah, I needed a little break. Sarah's got just about 5 minutes left, and I will give you more time. I'm going to heat up my coffee, and I will get back into the show. Thank you, guys.
12 minutes.
Thank you.
Then I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oops, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I always lean on this chair like I'm pretending like you're still here.
Oh, I know. That's good. Lean on me.
Oh, that's interesting, Nightcloud. Yes.
You know, you need something frivolous on your head right now to brighten up your day.
To brighten up my day. There we go. Celebrating. How are you? How's the rain? Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory. Is it raining with you? It's crazy. I'm not a big rain fan, actually, Pacific. Yeah, there's a lot of rain here, actually, and I'm totally not a rain fan. It cleared up, but then it started again. It cleared up for the day, so that's kind of nice, I should say. But then it started raining again. No, did it clear up? No, it didn't clear up. It was wait, I can't remember. I think it cleared up today. Maybe it is record-breaking rain. I don't know. I just know that I put on my rain jacket when it rains, and I take it off when it's not raining. Hello, Aaron Camp. How are you? Northbound, something northbound, block north of Woodland. And where is this? Wow. Yes, they should store the rain, especially down in the desert states. I-5 block north of Woodland. Wow, really? Woodland. Driving it north into Cowlitz County from the Portland area just became impossible Wednesday. Cowlitz Interstate 5 will be closed north of Woodland through Wednesday night because engineers have determined that the slide that it closed it earlier in the day is too unstable to start cleaning up. Wow. In addition, multiple 30 slides between Rainier and Columbia City had Highway 30 closed to northbound traffic. Wow. And the only way through was windy and treacherous Columbia County roads. Wow. Oh man, poor people traveling on the I-5. Feel sad for them. Thank you, Scissor Fight, for that. I know. Isn't that ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day. Alright, you just got back from the Portland Aguilar meetup. Aguilar. What do you mean Aguilar meetup? What are you meeting about? Christina Aguilera? I'm confused. Geek Claw? Yeah, I agree. We should start storing the rain safely so people can use it. That would be great. Why? I think this is beautiful. You're funny, Busy. You're teasing me. Good. Alright. why the Library of Congress is blocking WikiLeaks. Oh, Angular. Well, alright. It's a JavaScript web API. Alright. Fantastic. Aaron's into web development. Fantastic. Yes, get your rain barrels. Capture the rain. Use it for showers and washing dishes. Ooh, and heat it up and then you can drink it. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Sarah's all dressed up. Oh, you're back. How are you? That's cool. So you're developing web APIs. That's fun. I don't know if that actually is fun. I've never actually tried it. Oh, you hate doing web development? Even though that's all you do at Hack Oregon, is that where you work and you hate it? Why don't you do something that you actually like? Maybe because there's no money in something that you actually like. Could be. I don't know. I know, I'm like partying. So it's a place you volunteer at. It's called Hack Oregon. Why do you volunteer there if you don't like the actual work you're doing when you volunteer? You could be like volunteering for like Habitat for Humanity, building houses. You might like it. You might volunteer at, you might volunteer to help spread the word about David. You might like that. You could volunteer at a school. You could volunteer for a robotics league. I know somebody that needs volunteers this weekend if you're interested. Over in Snohomish. It's not that bad, okay. Oh, how fun is that? You can sing her that song next time you see Savannah. My brown-eyed girl.
I'm gonna take the Trump wig that we got for Halloween and customize it, make it another wig. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of put it on a mannequin.
Which wig?
Sculpted. That one we had for Halloween. The other one.
Oh yeah, that one.
It's wild.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so this has been really very special, and thank you so much for sharing tonight.
Hey, that Brown Eyed Girl song talks about rain.
Yeah.
That day when the rain came.
Yeah, I know. It's a great song. I love that song.
Standing.
My brown-eyed girl. North Korea develops an H-bomb, according to Kim Jong-un. Yeah. Well, North Korean leader has been doing more than just playing Xbox. He's actually developing a nuclear weapon, a hydrogen bomb, according to Pyongyang state media. You know, he has all those plutonium bombs. Why does he need a hydrogen bomb? It still comes back to my original point. I don't believe that the uranium-based and plutonium-based nuclear weapons that are out there are real atomic weapons. I believe that they're dirty bombs. I've been believing this ever since I've been researching the nuclear reactor and development science that led us to this concept of exploding a little particle of uranium. I'm trying to find some valid science that confirms that you can take a teeny particle of weaponized uranium and turn it into a big explosion. I'm trying to find the science there. There's no infinite supply of uranium to convert to isotopes. I could never understand that. But you have an infinite supply of hydrogen.
The deep web is completely different than the dark web, and the deep web is necessary to hold data that you don't necessarily want people just finding out about you on Google. But
Correct.
You do want it to be stored in the cloud, because I hate buying server space.
You know, if you're trusting of the security that you have on the internet with your service provider,
like I am,
like Sarah believes that Google is totally 100%.
Love Google.
They love it, and people love Google. The fact is, Google is a government,
but of course,
socialist operation.
The one problem I don't like about Google is they will want to own everything I create.
That's what all socialist operations do. That's why I'm saying the government owns Google and owns Facebook. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg recently said that he's going to get rid of 99% of his stock. Because he knows he doesn't even own the company. Google and Facebook were underwritten by the government through shell corporations called In-Q-Tel and others. They've been buying up the very backbone of the social networks. But you don't care because you don't mind being watched. Many of you are just nice people and you don't realize that, you got nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide, right?
For me, if I minded being watched, I wouldn't be on this show.
I know. I mean, I'm innocent. I've done nothing wrong. So what do I care if the government's watching me, right?
These people watching me. Bring it on. You're watching me.
But what you don't realize, Mr. Anderson, is that they're harvesting data from your files, Mr. Anderson. They are systematically sucking you dry.
That. Can I?
In the Matrix.
I'll look into that later. I don't know. Bring it up tomorrow night at the beginning of the show.
What do you think happening, Ross Ulbricht? Have they totally shredded his Fourth Amendment marks? Let's talk about Ross Ulbricht for a second.
Here, I'll leave that there.
Thank you.
Okay.
The first test tube puppies have been born. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I'm not very political.
No, it doesn't matter. We're just checking into Ross Ulbricht right now. Silk Road creator appeals his life sentence. He's been charged with a tremendous crime. The Silk Road was involved in money.
Silk Road is not
drugs.
what I would call the deep web. It's what I would call the dark web.
That's the dark web, yeah. He's appealing his life sentence. That's what's going on with him. Hey, what's going on? And a half-pound mutt becomes the first test tube puppy in the world. A 7.5-pound mutt. I'll be darned. Go figure. David, the investigating hacked Oregon solely on its name and wanted the lead to become an FBI recruiter because they cannot get any programs anymore. Really? So the FBI was investigating Hack Oregon solely on its name and wanted the head to become an FBI recruiter because they can't get any programmers. Well, you just said a mouthful there, Aaron Camp. Wow. Little pearl of wisdom coming from Aaron Camp talking about how...
This is the world's first litter of puppies ever born by in vitro fertilization. So we have 7 normal, happy, healthy puppies.
I'm not into hackers.
You'll see that this one here is a cross...
These are test tube hacky babies.
Between a Cocker Spaniel and a Beagle, whereas this one over here is a Beagle, and they all came from the same litter, but they have different moms and dads.
Okay. And this story just came in. That's nice. The test tube puppies, that's special. Okay. But they can't raise the animal past the test tube. That's the problem. They've never been able to gestate any test tube baby. Exo-utero. Outside of the uterus. Yes. Okay, so according to Alpha Geek, Putin says that hopefully no nukes will be needed against ISIS. He knows he's attacking an organization that was created by Western leaders. He's even said that G20, 40 different nations fund ISIS, he says. But he doesn't think that he has praised the Russian cruise missiles fired against terrorists in Syria from the sea. He expressed hope that these weapons would not have to be armed with nuclear warheads. Did you hear the Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto is really an Australian guy who has his house raided last night over tax issues? Are you serious? Doggy style, I did not know. Satoshi Nakamoto is the ringleader of the Bitcoin business. We take you immediately to that story, even though we don't have one. I know, Aaron. I don't know what your guys are, even thinking, coming up with a name like Hack Oregon. Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto is the unknown Australian genius who came up with the Bitcoins. Thank you for bringing that information to us. Police afraid of a drug test. Really? Pittsburgh police are not going to be tested? Somebody's doing some drugs. Even as his face towered 10 feet above the crowd at the Bitcoin Investor Conference, Craig Stephen Wright was, to most of the audience of crypto finance geeks, a nobody. The 44-year-old Australian Skyping into the D Hotel ballroom screen were the Bitcoin's enthusiasts' equivalent of camouflage. Hold on a second, who are you? Are you a computer scientist? Wright says, I'm a bit of everything. I have a master's in law, a master's in statistics, a couple of doctorates. Okay, so this is all about him being investigated. Now, this is just a background file on him. Yep. So he's being investigated for tax fraud. Wow. Okay. Hey, Amber Spawn, thank you for coming in and participating. Let me get rid of the Earth here for a second. Who needs the Earth, you know? It's like, we could just desecrate it, destroy it, dump chemicals all over it, you know? That's how our world is right now. Our leaders don't even care. They're not doing diddly squat to save the Earth. They don't have any plans either. Now, there is some money. Money. PK22 got suspended for 2 weeks. Whoa, what did he do? He's always been pretty nice on his show. Yeah, boy, this censorship is really coming down hard, isn't it? Oh, God, more articles on this blowhard. No, I can't handle the fake news anymore. It's a mega mix. Yeah, I can't play any music on our show. It's so sad. They'll knock my entire show off the air if I play any serious music. We know that he hasn't been around. We think maybe his head's got something on it. He doesn't want to broadcast anymore, I don't think. You got grounded for listening to my show a few years ago from your parents? Are you serious? That's amazing. Well, I'll be darned. Well, it happens. You're right. I'm all right. Now you're coming around, David. You're right about this. I know. Thank you. Okay, guest back on. You got to be nice, guest. Thank you. We're in the extended show now. I only do this because I'm nice. I'm obviously not like Donald Trump. I don't want to invest more troops overseas. You'll like that because a lot of you are going to be in draft age pretty soon. I also want to end the Federal Reserve. He wants to not only continue the Federal Reserve, he wants to borrow even more money. We love you too. Thank you. I bet I had one of those when I was a kid. Let's see what you got.
From a build-your-own nuclear reactor kit
Come
to
on.
needle-sharp launch.
I would never have a build-your-own nuclear reactor kit. Those are pretty rare. Yeah, I have some big plans coming up. I plan on I'm going to have a movement, fairly large movement in America. Oh, thanks, have you? I'm changing the name. I'm working on a name for the movement. Right now it's called Third Party, but I'm thinking of calling it the Bowel Movement. I don't know. Or, no, the Bowel Movement. Yeah. It's a kind of a renaissance of people using A, E, I, O, and U. Because I owe you nothing. I? You got a large one? Okay. No, I was thinking if we could create a good movement here. Bigger than the bowel movement. Something like the Third Party. A turd party. Ooh, I got it. The biggest movement in America is now here. It's the Turd Party. It's for anyone with a lisp. It's not third, it's turd. Aussie Music, hello. Hello there. We've got a whole repertoire of wonderful false flag videos for all of you tonight. I was hoping I could get more interesting stuff out for you. Yeah, I've got a thing here on, oh, no. Gosh, I gotta pull this off. Why does it do this to me? Okay. sign in every time. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I tell you. Yeah, so the searching. What's up?
Who's seen the note?
Might be in my car. I'll check it. It might still be in my car. I'll go get it. I sometimes take our Note 10.1 out. Okay, well, we have a little link here for all of you to check out how we someday want to clean up the ocean. And one of the things we'd like to do is develop technology that does what this group at the oceancleanup.com site is doing right now. And what we're looking at is booms that are set out in the ocean to harvest plastic waste and bring it into central areas that can be digested. Now, this is something we talk about on our Wasteful Wednesday, so I hope you understand that it's not just land that I want to recover and soil, it's actually the ocean too. I don't want to just give up on any of these things. Are you on legal marijuana tonight? No. I don't do anything illegal or legal. Marijuana. Now, I was looking at prices on a thing called dabs today, and I found out that somebody told me that because recreational marijuana is available in my area, that I should try it. So I thought, well, instead of actually smoking something, I'd like to try this vaporization thing. So I have this vaporizer I've shown you on screen that I use for oregano. And I called up a local provider of dabs, my recreational provider, and I got a woman on the phone, and I said, so tell me, what is the cost of your dabs? And she said it was like they come in half-gram quantities, and they charge $36. So she was saying $36 for a half a gram of this stuff. And that's like hardly any, right? And I'm hearing from other people in the room, like Drag King, he said he's getting his dabs for $30 a gram. And he's in the eastern part of the state. I didn't know dabs are harmful. I'm just researching this on my own.
This is the world's first litter of puppies ever born by in vitro fertilization. So we have 7 normal, healthy puppies. You'll see that this one here is a cross between a Cocker Spaniel and a Beagle. This one over here is a Beagle, and they all came from the same litter.
No, I knew I should never have clicked this link. No.
Born at the same time.
Good morning, folks. We just got a call from McGowan, Florida.
No. See, I ruin all my links if I do this.
In vitro fertilization is a really powerful tool to help preserve endangered species of dog, like the African painted dog. If we want to breed them in captivity and we collect, say, their eggs and sperm, we have to be able to do IVF to create new members of that species. IVF is also important for the health of our pets because it opens up the possibility that we could identify certain genes.
I got it. Thank you. That was good. It took me a while to find it, but I found it. All right, back to you. Okay, you're lamer than previously assessed. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Feel free to criticize me or consider Scissor Fight has PK's final one that he did before the end, before he was put into a...
Well, I knew this would happen. I put up a video a couple of weeks ago. Can you believe your government supports this? It was showing Netanyahu and vision of Israeli atrocity on the Palestinians. I knew for sure that they would hit me with that strike, because you can't say anything against Israel. On you.
So he said something against Israel's mistreatment of the Palestinians, and he got striped. Having a stripe on YouTube is equivalent to being tarred and feathered. Looking good. Hey, guest 233, thank you. Yeah, I'm wearing my, I started, you'll see the recorded video, hopefully, unless they shut it down and censor it. You'll see that I was having a bad hair day when someone asked me to make, some changes in my head, and I just went out and I tried a brown wig, and then I've got this wig. The lame comment was directed at a chatter, not you. Oh, I'm sorry. Guest 812. It was my error. The wig is an attempt to look younger, because I'm really an old guy. I'm really old. I'm like way older than 25, dude. No, he doesn't have balls or money. Donald Trump is a fiction of his own belief, or a legend in his own mind. Yeah, he has no verification that he has $10 billion. There's not one stitch of evidence he has that money. He went from not even being on Forbes' top 500 list of billionaires to claiming he has $10 billion in 5 years. I'm sorry, but I cry foul here. I don't believe it. In fact, Trump's wealth is a false flag. He's using that to trump himself up as if he's something special when he's not. He's no different than this cow here. A bag of hot air. Yeah. Anything for attention, I know. I'm glad I'm not that way. I'm not an attention seeker. I'm really a very beautiful individual who, I just want to live in peace with the environment. Every day I kind of sit in my Zen position thinking of all the wonderful things I want to do as president. Pre-visualizing, that's what I do. Doom is on. News from the December 9th, 2nd edition. The Doom. It's a beautiful creature of God. Yes. Doom, doom, and more doom. Yeah, we can't play the Professor Doom right now. I'll play it later tonight, though. Thank you. Great stuff. PK still is up, though. Running is okay. Okay. Aussie Music says PK is still back up. He hasn't been suspended. Wow, really? Maybe they pulled a suspension. Yeah. There you go. He's still up there. Yeah, BK. Yeah, my rain barrels are full there, sir. Yes, sirree. We had plenty of rain because them there chemtrails are dropping industrial waste on our head. Imagine Dave walking out to heavy metal on his presidential speeches. Oh yes. It would be fabby. Your cats are already upset. They're dealing with an OCD person. Your cats are probably suffering from OCD kitty disease. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive kitty disorder, we call it. Let's take a look here at this fabulous song that I like, simply because it's got verve, it's got excitement, it's got that just let go and be yourself kind of pizzazz, you know? All right, we're clearly different than the two parties. Pro-legalization, marijuana. You won't get the other two parties to do this. It's not across the board with recreational legalization. I want you to be able to grow it in your backyard and make money for your family. And we make money on sales tax. Oh, he's suspended from posting. Okay, thanks, Fight. And clearly we want to end the wars and bring our troops home, unlike Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. A huge reason to vote for us. And of course, Donald Trump won't even talk about the Federal Reserve. One of the most powerful organizations in the world, a private monetary bank that sees central bank control over our nation. If we don't deal with this incredible behemoth monopoly power, we are going to be taken down by these evildoers. So our nation needs a president with strength, commitment, and honesty. And we don't get that from Donald Trump. We get greed, personal avarice, a desire for self-aggrandizement constantly. He's not a man of the people, and we need a man of the people. Thank you. So you've come to the right place. We are trying to form a political movement in the middle of the political spectrum, and this is just the beginning. Even though it seems like the end of a long 7 years, we're moving on to the 8th year, and we're going to win this 2016 election by waking the American people up. Waking up to the dangers of GMOs. Waking up to the dangers of fluoride in our water system, which is completely unnecessary for our population. I will mandate every single municipal water supply to be cleaned of fluoride, and I will test it. We will also build up our forces of unmanned vehicles, not to police its own people and do domestic surveillance, but rather to defend our nation and replace dangerous first-line defenses with automated defenses. But we will keep our 2 million man, woman armed forces. I will not downsize it. I will keep them on payroll, and we will be using them to their maximum capability. Right now, the TSA is costing our country $7 billion a year. We can save $7 billion by simply bringing in plainclothes National Guardsmen and Coast Guard women and men, and get this country to save $7 billion a year from the TSA, and stop this ridiculous violation of our personal rights. Okay, that was fun. Dark side. Yeah, you know. Yes. Well, the fact is, our men and women are perfectly capable of handing a wand over your body instead of asking you to take your pants down and let them touch your junk. We don't need rapid scanners on our bodies. We need them on the luggage. It's going to be far more effective in stopping terrorism. We don't need to start wars to stop wars. So we're going to reverse the policy we've got in Syria and Ukraine. We will minimize the after effects of all the refugee crisis that is spinning out of control because of bad policy. And we will send the refugees back to their home country where they ultimately will probably want to go. All right, this has been wonderful. Now we got 10 more minutes to talk to you, the chatters, on one-on-one. Agricultural fluoride use is unnecessary as well because it doesn't serve any purpose. There's no benefit to fluoride in our agriculture at all. Putting it in your toothpaste, if you want to believe that, it's good for you. And I sometimes use it myself because if I feel a cavity coming on, I'll apply it directly to my mouth. But you rinse that out afterwards. And there's no scientific study that proves that fluoride in our water system prevents cavities. Not one single scientific piece of evidence. You listen to a lot of liars tell you that there is not one. We need a person with balls, not a person who runs his mouth off and gets in trouble like Donald Trump. We need a person with real solid testicles. The ones with the kind of intensity that only the entire world of spermatozoa would understand. We need a person with real sperm. That's what we need. Yeah. Somebody keeps posting that Donald Trump somehow has balls. I mean, where are they getting that? Donald Trump basically had his entire life handed to him on a big platter. That's Donald Trump's platter right there. Yeah. You need a president with elephant-sized balls who understands what it's like to grow up middle class or less and have to struggle to survive. You need a guy who understands how to save the nation, not how to borrow money. I don't need money to save the nation. The nation doesn't need money to save the nation. The nation needs to cut its costs. I'm going to keep this hair on until the end of the show, but maybe I'll come up with a new wig tomorrow. Who knows? Anyone with affluence should be bashed. Yeah. Not physically, but, We don't need greedy pigs running our country. We don't. Ban a Muslim Hello Barbie in San Bernardino. I tend to believe that these two people were not the perpetrators of this crime, so We got a couple other things. The banned Muslim Hello Barbie in San Bernardino. We'll look at that. Yeah, the average cost of a branded cancer drug is around $10,000 a month, double the level a decade ago, according to data firms IMS. Cancer doctors say high costs are unavoidable because of all the options are pricey. Well, that's BS, 911. We need to get generic medicine on board so we ourselves can save some cash. Donald Trump would never do that. Donald Trump will never put together a plan to save the nation with American jobs. He has no plans. He has no ideas. You look at everything about him. He doesn't have a website with all kinds of platforms and ways to solve problems. He has none of that. It just amazes me how people just don't understand that. Understand how important it is to have a person who understands the future of the country and what we can do to help make it better. All he has is just attacks on everybody around him to get media time. And I don't get any media time at all. I haven't even been able to get promoted on The Simpsons. You know, even though I do look like a lead character in The Simpsons, they can't even get me on the show. I don't get any free press, I tell you. Nothing. And here I could easily be that guy. Easily. Good night, TT. Yeah, I don't have a wig either. Except the one I'm wearing. Reported? And now people are seeing Donald Trump swastikas painted near roads. You see how he's looking and sounding like Adolf Hitler more and more? This is amazing. Okay, USA Today is talking about this. That's interesting.
Large swastika in Buckhead with Donald Trump's face at the center of it. The Republican presidential candidate is seen wearing a Hitler mustache and a $100 bill bow tie inside a huge swastika. The Atlanta Police Department is already on scene waiting for someone to clean it up, but whoever painted it is certainly trying to send a message.
You know it. That's on an off-ramp. Right there in the center aisle of Atlanta Highway. Night, yeah, night to you too. It's in the voice, not the face. What voice are you talking about? Well, a decade ago, cancer drugs killed you. Now they still kill you. Pacific. Most cancer drugs kill you. That's correct. It's called to kill you therapy. And because the cancer industry is all about money, somebody wrote a book called The Cancer Industry. And they don't want to lose that gravy train of money. Hey, you didn't know I was censored on the internet? A lot of you come in here saying, make your own cartoon, dude. Yeah, you'll be famous on YouTube. You have no idea. I've been censored on YouTube for the past 4 years, since 2011. I was getting 20,000 hits a week, and I get 20 now. My hit counters are all locked. Candy Rain in the house. Hello, Candy Rain. So, yeah, this has been a real wild ride here, watching the Trump phenomenon implode daily. And the American people, they don't even get interviewed. This entire thing is controlled media, predictive programming. They're telling everybody that somehow you got to hate on Muslims, and then they're saying, Loretta Lynch is saying that she's going to prosecute anyone who hates on Muslims, and then you got Donald Trump hating on Muslims. And I'm wondering why Loretta Lynch has not prosecuted Donald Trump. I mean, what's going on here? I thought she said she's going to prosecute people hating on Muslims. Thanks, Donald John Trumpheim. David John Trumpheim. Thanks a lot. Yeah, we got a cool place to hang out. You know, and I play videos into the evening. Well, I'm on the people section because I've been on the people section for the past 5 years when I started this site. Now, I didn't start Vaughn. Was it 5 years? 3 years ago. I didn't start Vaughn, but I can tell you we came in and we brought a lot of people into Vaughn. We came in from another network. No, I'm not sunburned, but I would like to talk to you about how, you know, I started the show off how I wanted to get you guys some cash. Well, I do have a plan in our program. I do have a plan in our program called $1,000 microloans. So if anybody wanted to start a small business in their home, say you wanted to make, sex toys, okay? And you needed some startup capital. You wanted to buy some leather or whatever you're into. I'm not into sex toys or anything. But say you wanted to do that. Maybe your girlfriend says, hey, honey, I'm really good with sewing, and, I could make some really good, belts and whips. Well, our microloan is perfect for you. The $1,000 microloan program is a way for you to get capital, return capital with an 8% interest. That's $40 in 6 months back to the U.S. government. And you'll give you another $1,000 microloan ready to go. $1,000 microloan is pretty cool because it's going to give you an opportunity to start an eBay business. And I was kidding about the sex toys. Good night, DT. Sleep well. Yeah. David the Terrorist not got on a line loan? What? Pacific, none of the information I'm getting from the news is verified. It's all fictitious in my mind. I have no verification whatsoever that they got a $28,000 loan. I mean, that's absurd. Where can you verify anything now? Ping Ching is posting a picture of his African-American sister. Oh, okay, Ping Ching, thank you. Suspicion of entry or imposition of restrictions by president whenever the entry of an alien or a class of aliens in the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, the president may, by proclamations for such as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of aliens. Yes. You are correct, Dog. That's correct. I've always, when I came up with the no refugee plan and then Trump stole it and decided he didn't want anyone coming into the border at all, and he wanted to expel Muslims from the country, he misconstrued what I was saying. One of the problems with borrowing all of my ideas, he gets them all wrong. My no refugee plan actually brought them into areas like Ellis Island and Channel Islands off the coast. And we also have an area in Arizona and Nevada that have over 500,000 areas for people to sleep, tents. I don't know. Is there something racist in the program that I'm glad that you feel comfortable with your freedom of speech? I'm not a racist myself, but don't hesitate to freely speak out if you're concerned. Yeah, I'm not here to call you names. If you want to have a position that's to the right of everybody else, feel free. I don't have a problem with it. Racism is not a crime in America. That's correct. Obama stole my ideas too. I'm not a president. Basically, I've been pushing ideas that they've been borrowing. Obama took my fast-track naturalization wording. He borrowed that. Granted, we were coming up with an infrastructure idea at the same time that John Kerry was, so I'm not going to claim they took our infrastructure bank idea, but that's pretty close. We've been saying goodnight to DT Laura for like half an hour now. What's going on with that? Are you having a hard time going to sleep, DT Laura? Do you want us to somehow, sing you a lullaby? How about a Christmas song? Chestnuts roasting on an open radiation pit at Fukushima. Jack Frost in an ice age. Old Saint Nick is now a Muslim sympathizer. Merry Holidaymas to you. In the politically correct sense of the word, happy holidays. My nuts resting on your chestnuts. What? I'm reading off a chat here. It's a really big show. It's a really, really big show. Ladies and gentlemen from Oak Harbor, Washington. The Beatles. The Blonde Beatles. We love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, don't support this Trump guy. He's a Nazi. He's a corporate pig Nazi. So please, thank you. We don't need that in our country. We're more aware than anybody else. Hey, could somebody call Hillary and ask her to not run and put me in place? Because I'd like to just gather all you Democrats here and give you a big hug. Ah, come on, we can make up. The $1,000 micro loan program will sweeten the deal. Thank you, Ping Ching. I did not. No. Well, this has been too fun. You're going to have more fun with the chat if you hang out together and just, hold hands and sing Kumbaya, my love. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord. Kumbaya. 'Tis the season to be radiated. Da 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 da. Play videos now. Okay. Video coming now. Preparing device for presentation. Now. PSYOPs, gun control, mental health agenda. Ooh, look at this. Let's do it. We're getting ready for the show. The really big show here. Okay.
What's up, everybody? E from Truth Virus. Look at the puzzled look on this fucking Barbie doll propagandist's face right here, man. Blue, 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 blue everywhere you look. But what's new, right? Uh-oh, look at it right here. Officials, right? Officials say.
Okay, is this guy saying anything?
Go ahead, give them their customary thumbs to fuck down. Officials say San Bernardino shooter took out a $28,500 loan, right? What if...
I think this guy figured out a way to extend his times by just talking slower.
Officials. What if... Oh, you mean the Freemasonic Zionist psychopath officials? That...
Okay. Yeah. Yowza, yowza, yowza. Okay, let me get my camera back in here. I accidentally got rid of it. I do that occasionally. Uh-oh. Hold on. Yeah, let me get this set up so I can do the after show too. Okay. Survey says. Yeah, so this is going to be a kind of a video aspect of our show. We go on into the evening with this. You asked for it, you got it. I will be watching shows with you tonight, intermittently. Yes, so I'll be here in the show with you. It's what I do. I do these shows because I care. So let's listen to some music, shall we? All right, let's do that. This is Half Acre Day.
So this is the afterlife for a big man in any small town. You climb to the top of the standpipe and watch all the buildings burn down. And I'll be at my funeral, drink me a noggin full and scream, why did he have to go? Only the astronauts know. Only the astronauts know. When I get to heaven, I'll study my human.
Thanks everybody for coming in. You've been great. Great audience tonight. Thank you.
Thickness of my skull and the state of my brain.
We have some pretty active chatters here, and I'm going to turn guest chat off. get ready to start watching some shows here.
Only the astronauts know.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for attending Wasteful Wednesday.
Make friends with the dolphin and don't ever fight. 'Cause no matter what, the dolphin's always right. Because you see, they're known to be quite bright. Have fun with a porpoise. You'll swim around and round. Oh, what a time you'll have until he drags you down. Oh, what fun you'll have until he drags you down. Though you won't last a minute underwater, and the dolphin won't last long upon the land. You'll swim along and sing a song in a language you both understand. Both understand. Both understand. And the rocket's red glare. Balloons are bursting in the bright summer air. Life is a poison that we drink from day to day. Love is a postcard sent from far away. Take it from me, you don't want to be hanging around when my metropolis burns to the ground. Can it be real? Can it be true? I gave up the life of computers for
Donald Trump's face at the center of it. The Republican presidential candidate is seen wearing a Hitler mustache and a $100 bill bow tie inside a huge swastika. The Atlanta Police Department is already on scene waiting for someone to clean it up, but whoever painted it is certainly trying to send a message.
This is the afterlife for a big man in any small town.
So we got the usual suspects in the comments down here.
On the standpipe,
And don't forget to come on in here.
watch all the buildings
Everybody else
burn
too
down.
over in here. We got the
And
time.
I'll be at my funeral. Drink me another full and scream, why did he have to go?
What more do we know about the rights? Blue. But CNN, their colors are the good old Nazi red and white here, right? But no. You gotta put the blue on, right? The blue. Newsroom, blue. Because you can trust them, right? Yeah. Color-coded propaganda bullshit.
What did he use that money for?
What did he use the money for while he's standing clearly, just clear as day, green screening as always with this propaganda, because they're just creating a story, they create the narrative, it's all a production, alright? It's all done on fucking film sets. It's created by psychopaths to manipulate you into giving up your free will rights, alright? Slowly but surely, just chipping away at it, man. That's what they're doing.
Investigating. We know that
Tell us all about it, Dan Simon. He's a trustworthy guy. Tell us all about it, Danny boy.
apparently went to his mother. Some of it apparently went towards household expenses. I think the ultimate question is...
He may have, right? Oh, may have. Not he did, right? They never give you any facts here on the fucking CIA, CNN. No.